Hello, baby gangsters. This is Calvin, also known as Romer, and this is my first ever playthrough of Honkai Star Rail. And we are here with Oh, we have an idle animation? Oh my god. How can you not adore? We have Su Xianzhou on our team today, and actually, here is what I did with her character. There's her stats. Her light cone is leveled up to plus, like to level 50. Their traces are fully leveled up as much as they probably can be at the moment. Relics obviously not fully leveled up, but like, of course, you know, we're gonna be changing relics as we go as well. Yeah, there you go. You can see how I leveled up Su Xianzhou, and this actually took all that took like 30 minutes of me doing nothing. I was responding to like comments and like editing a video as the game basically did everything for me. Like I refought Cocolia, and I'm not even joking. You can like the first time I was like I fought Cocolia like as a refight. I was like, this is an awesome fight. This is so cool. And then it was like, wait a second, you can auto fight this? Does this work? And I auto fought like this epic boss, and the game's like, yeah, you can do that. Like, it's fine. We want this to be the easiest experience in the world to level up characters. Oh, you don't have a material? Don't worry. Let's just synthesize it, you know? It's like so easy in every single way. Today we have 2 missions we're doing today. These are stuff that like, I wasn't sure when we were supposed to be doing this stuff. Obviously, I have a list that was given to me by Patreon, and of course, there's also like thing in the menu too. You can look at it also. Of like the order you can do things in, and so like, you know, it's just so we don't like do anything out of order. And obviously like, that can be loosey-goosey. We don't do everything, but this is something you definitely should not only, and you guys are saying this as well in the comments, it's not that you just like could do this now. You definitely should do this. This is Venom Brews and Immortality Looms. Let's check it out.
Household registration always takes forever.
And I feel like you always get I always feel like we're missing something here at the Realm of Keeping Commission Chancery, but I can never remember what. You just come at the right time. Help me rule out possibilities. Tell me, what do you think our office is missing? So I don't know, so I'm just gonna say is now really the time to think, because I don't know. I don't know. Small ornaments to make this place feel alive. Make the place feel alive. I actually thought about that. I'm a big fan of alcoholic nectar and wanted to stash 2 bottles of nectar Willow Woods at the Chancery, but Officer Jinyuan threw them out. She said this is a workplace and it would be undignified if anyone found out. I also like pretty foxy actresses, so I put a couple of their pictures up on my desk to perk up my spirits, but Officer Jinyuan confiscated those too. She said this workplace and those images are indecent. Like, well, what did the images look like? You know what I mean? If it's just actresses, like, who gives a damn, man, you know? Like, who cares? Sounds like they're being a bit too much of a stickler for the rules here, you know? The only way Realm Keeping Commission feels alive is through the courier parcels on the ground. I guess we'll ask if he has the mission for us. Yeah, I can't figure out what, even if I rack my memory, but I think I'll play a few rounds of Celestial Jade after work and think through it then. Alright, then let's get to business, young lady. What do you want? I think you definitely called us, right? So here's 2 missions, right? The Dragon Lady is the... Yeah, so I heard this is the... this one we're doing now, I think.
Oh, that's right. Forgive my forgetfulness. Glad you came. It's great to have one of the General's distinguished guests helping us out.
No problem.
My Realm-Keeping Commission colleagues failed to provide adequate care for the Dragon Lady. I'd like to thank you on behalf of all of them for rescuing her back in Exalting Sanctum Plaza.
All the day's work? I mean, like, honestly, like... I had no problem saving Bailu, 100%.
As I'm sure you're aware, symptoms of Mara have been spreading ever since the Stellaron incident occurred.
Right.
Thanks to the Ten Lords Commission, being stricken with Mara had long since become a terrifying but avoidable fate for Xianzhou natives. The puzzling thing is that despite the Commission's protection, we're now seeing an increase.
That is worrying, right?
More and more citizens, in particular those dealing with great risks and stress like the Cloud Knights, are becoming stricken with Mara.
So wait, are you saying that like people who... Oh, no, you're saying that people who are maybe on the front lines and people who are stressed out are like the Cloud Knights are becoming stricken with Mara.
Moreover, the Mara struck have taken on a horrifying appearance. As if they're turning into some sort of monster. This certainly differs from what I thought I knew about the illness.
So you need me to eliminate the Mara struck? Do you think there might be a hidden agenda at play? We can ask this.
We wouldn't have the audacity to trouble you with that. The General has a plan to suppress the illness.
Okay.
You're a capable person. And since the General entrusted you with locating the Stellaron, it's only a matter of time before you run into Marastruck.
I think we fought quite a few, right?
If you come across any clues, remember to inform the Realm Keeping Commission straight away. My colleagues and I will handle any situation with haste and to the best of our ability. Speaking of which, have you made any discoveries so far?
Have we? Oh. Wait, what? What did I press here? Wait, what?
Nothing better than clocking off early and playing a few rounds of Celestial Jade.
Wait, so we have the undelivered letter. Is that what we have to choose here? Right. That we got this so early on, right? That how carefully reads the letter you delivered. His expression reflects his disbelief as he reasons about the experimentations. We got this like when we just first came into Xianzhou, right? Dao sweats profusely as he apologizes and bolts away. After a while, he returns with the girl. It was the experimentation letter, right?
I read the letter.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, I've got no idea how to handle this problem. It's beyond the Realm Keeping Commission's jurisdiction. I contacted the Seat of Divine Foresight, which is overseen by the General.
Right, okay.
Allow me to introduce Madame Qingzhu, General Jing Yuan's chief counselor.
Hello, King Zhu.
I think it'll be easier if she explains the letter
Please,
to you.
yeah, go ahead. I didn't think it was going to come back like this. That's so interesting.
I read the letter you obtained from the Marastruck.
Okay.
While the Cloud Knights were searching for the Stellaron's whereabouts, I was carrying out the General's orders, tracking down clues on the Marastruck. Thanks to your efforts, we now have a lead. To an outsider, this letter appears to be nothing more than good news detailing a recovery from a chronic illness. However, what is actually being discussed is a violation of the 10 unpardonable sins. It's heresy.
Oh, so if you remember the letter, I believe the letter itself that we got at the start was talking about how like he did have these like grave injuries and felt like he was a burden to his family, and eventually, which is horrible to even to ever let anyone feel like they're a burden to anybody. But like, and then he like took this like these experiments happened, and all of a sudden he was like feeling like he could take on the world, but obviously like it had like a lot of side effects. Are you talking about merciful mediscus? Is that what it was called? Are you talking about the pharmacological experiment mentioned in the letter? Yeah.
That's right. Since the Alliance was first established, all medical practices aboard the Xianzhou adhere to strict standards that prohibit long life or mutant modifications under the guise of curing.
Right, and from judging, but like me, I had the same kind of like, not obviously had the same law imposing, but you guys know I was like terrified of what they were doing. Like the idea of anything like experiments and stuff. I guess I'm just always just like, please stop. You know what I mean? Like even if you remember my Genshin playthrough with the Fontaine stuff, I'm just like all the Research Institute stuff. I'm like, just stop, please, just stop.
I went through all our files to find information on the experiment in question, and found nothing. I started thinking about how the Alchemy Commission's delve was sealed off. There must be an unspeakable secret locked away there.
They did a good job, by the way, of already making this feel very serious, right? Because we already like were very worried about that letter at the start. Of course, then it went to kind of the back of our mind for a bit, and then like in an instant, Dahao here goes like, "No, this is so serious." He runs off, brings someone over here, and now she's telling us about like this unspeakable secret. They're doing such a good job making this feel so serious.
The author of this letter was likely the Marastruck you defeated.
Yep.
My guess is he was led astray and poisoned while under the pretext of being cured. You saw how he ended up.
Yep. So yeah, he was very hopeful that he was going to get to spend time with his family again, right? And like he ended up in that way.
Such actions remind me of an organization that was eradicated from the Xianzhou 1,000 years ago. The Disciples of Sanctus Medicus. So
Sanctus Medicus, by the way, wait, what's so interesting? Like is saying they were like eradicated, right? Didn't so is there like, oh no, from the Xianzhou, so there are still like Sanctus Medicus like still around, I guess?
They were disciples of the abundance that sought to restore the way of immortality by unearthing a forbidden remedial formula. It's hard to believe that a group that was wiped out so long ago would suddenly rear its head and create chaos once more. The seat of divine foresight needs to learn all it can about this organization's status before the situation reaches a point of no return.
Yeah, so it's not that they were eliminated completely, right? It was that they were eliminated from the Xianzhou.
If you come across any similar clues about the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, come and find me at the seat of divine foresight. These kinds of first-hand accounts are exactly what we require.
Sure. I didn't mean to.
Don't
I don't know
worry.
what I clicked.
The seat
I
of
did it
divine
again.
Foresight always rewards those who contribute to our
You know what's so funny? People said that the way to do it is so what do I get? I would not say this. Yeah, but I guess it's okay to say it, whatever. Press circle, people were saying. I should do that
I
in the future.
recently received some intel. It seems that certain individuals are taking advantage of the current chaos to lure in outworlders around Exalting Sanctum. Maybe you could start there?
Sure.
We sent an undercover investigator out a few months ago. They provided us with a rough idea of the situation. Unfortunately, it seems suspicions were aroused. We lost contact with the agent. I suspect he was discovered.
That's kind of scary, isn't it? Like, imagine losing all contact with someone you sent in on a mission.
You are a fresh face in the Loufu, and an outworlder. I would feel more at ease if I could leave this matter with you.
Okay, so I guess we're looking for suspicious people at the Exalting Sanctum. I don't know, man. Like, it's they did such a good job there building it up to be something like pretty terrifying, right? Like, because I think it's such a subtle way of doing. Because you could easily had people being like, scream and be like, "Oh my god, this is horrible." You know what I mean? And it would have worked. It would have worked. I would have been like, yeah, this is pretty terrifying as well. But I think what they did here was like have a very, again, I feel this game is so good at like reflecting how like real emotions are and like real things happen in real life and all this stuff like this. How do we get up there? You're from here. You work here, don't you, Sushang? How do we get up there? But yeah, how things reflect in real. Let's just warp up here. But yeah, how reflecting, real emotion stuff he got. Like, it's just like, he didn't scream. Oh my god, look at the kids looking at this as well. Look at that. He didn't scream. He didn't, like, roar, that. He just, like, did what, like, a very human thing to do is when you find out, like, very worrying news. You almost go quiet. You, like, maybe let out a little bit of, like, excuse me for a second, you know what I mean? And then, like, he comes back with, like, this very, like, serious lady who's giving us all this information, too. I feel like they did such a good job of making it feel very, like, serious, Which it is serious, So we look for someone suspicious. Little Timmy, of course. So suspicious. I'm gonna destroy the world. Yeah, I know, Timmy. I know. Timmy's not the suspicious one, though. He always wants to destroy the world. Are you suspicious? You suspicious? Are you suspicious? The truth about a mumbling weirdo. First name mumbling, last name weirdo.
Excuse me, guest from another world. Please spare me a moment of your time. Do you yearn for immortality?
In no way, shape, or form. But yes, I'll say yes, I do, because I want him to talk to me.
Excellent. Who would turn down the opportunity to live forever? The Xianzhou doesn't care one bit about the well-being of short-life species. They stubbornly blockade the glorious path to immortality. My name is Green Hibiscus. I came to Exalting Sanctum in hopes of a fated encounter with one such as yourself. One who is also on the road to immortality. What do you say? How about we find a more suitable spot to talk about all this?
Sure thing.
Let's make haste. There are too many people here to linger.
Yeah, we had to obviously agree with them for a second there.
This is the place.
How do I gain immortality?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If it were so easy, we'd be a far larger group, and there'd be no need for secrecy.
I feel like, I don't know, if even if you were a large group and you were like, you didn't have to be secret anymore, I feel like you would just be hunted down in 2 seconds. Just the vibe I get from this place, I think you'd be done.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am a member of the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus. I was unable to expose my true identity in Exalting Sanctum, but now I can reveal everything.
Oh yeah, and I want to say I definitely see, and I never like, I hope it doesn't sound like I disagreed ever, like, I definitely see why people were like, yeah, you should do this now. You know what I mean? You definitely should do this now.
The Disciples of Sanctus Medicus is a devout group, holding firm in their belief that Merciful Medicus is the one ultimate faith. As followers, we refer to ourselves as disciples, dedicated to our cause. If you wish to gain the means to immortality, then you must become a disciple. But to become a disciple, you must first pass several small trials.
Sure.
Please excuse me. Our expansion has unfortunately attracted the attention of those devilish archer followers. If we are not careful, the consequences could be unthinkable.
What is the Cloud Knight doing here? Don't people... Yeah, we can ask all the questions, I think.
No need to be concerned about him. Much like yourself, he is here to undergo the trials.
So that means, by the way, there's people within, like, every... And I think the reason why there is, like, a Cloud Knight here is also to show us that there are people in every corner of the Xianzhou that could be thinking about this, right? That could be looking for the idea of immortality and stuff like this, you know? Don't the people of Xianzhou abhor abundance?
Only those led astray by followers of the devilish archer could despise Merciful Medicus. Sadly, there are many such people. Too many.
What can I get from Sanctus Medicus?
Every species yearns for the favor and curing of Merciful Medicus.
Why am I saying Medicus?
Medicus. Whether they have heard of the abundance or not.
I know it's Medicus, by the way. I do know it's Medicus. But I said Medicus wrong before, and then like it just kind of like sticks in my head. So I'm like, it's Medicus. It's Medicus, yeah. But we can say Medicus because again, this is like gonna get like very serious. You know what I mean? I can feel it's gonna get very serious as well.
Phoxians yearn to cure themselves of their 300-year lifespan. The Videodora yearn to cure themselves of the pain of reincarnation and lack of progeny.
Phoxians yearn to cure themselves of 3,200-year lifespan? Did they not want to live for 300 years, or did they want to live past 300 years?
As for Xianzhou natives, they long to cure themselves of the torture of becoming Mara-struck. Of course, we know that this torture is rather a kind of blessed evolution.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To return to your question, Sanctus Medicus can cure the aging that short-life species face.
Cure?
Along with disease and death. Sanctus Medicus can do for you what they did for the Xianzhou natives.
But you do know that there's a history, there's literally history books and data banks that will show you why this probably isn't the best idea in the world? What trial do I have to pass?
What you seek, you will surely find. Merciful Medicus is magnanimous. They do not lightly refuse a prayer. As such, the initiation trials for the disciples of Sanctus Medicus are nothing arduous.
Okay.
All you must do is transcribe this copy of thousand-handed Merciful Medicus's salvation 500 times by
How would you go home?
This will allow your brothers and sisters to trust your faith, and you to become a disciple.
I ain't doing that. That's not... that would not be me. But this is actually a legit thing I think they did in like some religions, I believe. Even I think where it's like the idea of like rewriting books by hand and stuff like this. As a show of devout faith and stuff like this and things like that. But like, no. Sorry.
This scripture is central to the disciples. You must maintain a pious heart during the transcription. It would be best if you could memorize.
I no doubt I'd remember forever.
Of course. This is but the first trial. Once you have become a disciple, you will undergo numerous others.
Oh man.
Excessive. The old rules dictated that the text
Did
be
I-
copied 50,000 times. I myself undertook such a feat. Nowadays, the master takes greater pity on the common people. Hence, the number has been reduced to a mere 500.
Yeah, see here. I did the same. I'm going to keep my finger on... It's just so natural to press X. It's so natural, but I would say this. I would say it's so natural to press X, but I'll press circle. We actually have to do it? Like, you're actually, like... And this guy's blocking off the door as well, okay. You start copying the thousand-handed merciful Medicus salvation. Once upon a time, the Thousand Hands Santis Medicus traveled the world with their 99,999 disciples, living under Rahu and teaching their way. Your index finger has a slight cramp and your shoulders feel a bit sore, but you only made the first copy. There's still 499 copies waiting to be written. This is still loaded. Crap, really, honestly. As they spoke the words, 99,999 disciples were liberated from youth, old age, sickness, and suffering. Man, like, I hate the idea of, like, we cured, you know, your lifespan. Like, the idea, I think it's such a manipulative way of, like, putting it, like, we cured. It's like, no, people just die. People pass away. It's something that happens. After making the final stroke, you catch a Cloud Knight in your peripheral vision as he gestures to you. Can I say as well, living forever means you will experience more suffering. Factually so. Like, by percentages, you will experience more suffering. Maybe not by percentages, maybe by quantity. You will experience more suffering. You will see more wars. You will see more death. You will see more injustice than you will ever see before. This idea of, like, being free from suffering is like a very... It's like almost like a blanket statement that will not apply to everybody. You will see more suffering than you would ever see in your life.
Hey, stop writing. Get over here.
A strange Cloud Knight, by the way. And by the way, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying, like, this is bad in terms of a storytelling. I think this is, like, very, like, almost accurate what they're doing in a way. It's like, you know, when people are trying to make you truly devoted, they do this stuff in, like, a very, like, and it's almost like it's almost like very, like, hazing, like, but it's stuff that, like, is to prove you're dedicated, that it truly just feels pointless as heck. You know what I mean? Oh my god, is this 1 out of 500 times as well?
Took you long enough. I know you. You're General Jing Yuan's honored guest.
You know us? I think you got the wrong person. Jin Yan, never heard of him. Looks like I'll have to make sure no one finds out.
Wait a second. You're here undercover, right? So am I.
Oh, wow. For real?
I'm a Cloud Knight from the Exalting Sanctum Garrison. That green hibiscus has been sneaking around spreading heretical lies for a while now. That's why I'm here, to spy on
So
him.
we were sent by one person, you were sent by another?
They were suspicious of me as soon as I arrived. It took a lot of effort to make them believe I wanted to become a disciple.
Why did you come here in your uniform? Of course, they're bound to have their doubts when you're dressed like that.
I have my reasoning. Cults like this want to recruit people with influence in law and order. I wanted them to know I was a Cloud Knight. Always know your enemy.
You really are a genius. What's your next plan?
Shh, keep your voice down. These disciples don't miss much. If they discover us, we won't make it out of here. You can trust me with the transcription. I spent over 150 years pen pushing in the seat of divine foresight before I became a Cloud Knight. I could do this in
Wait, you're
my
gonna do this for
sleep.
us?
Listen carefully. I help you copy the text, you cover for me, and I get word out to the seat of divine foresight.
Sure. So he transcribed it for us? Thank you so much, sir. Actually, like, that's how I used to study, like, in college and stuff like that, is that I would, like, my way of, like, studying was, like, how do I say it? I would read, write, say. So you read something, you summarize it, and then you say it, and then you rewrite what you summarize. Then you read what you summarized again to yourself. I write it again, and then I say. So writing stuff does help me remember stuff. But here's your 500 pages of whatever you needed.
Take your time, still your mind, and transcribe the text. Allow the beautiful enlightenment of thousand-handed, merciful Medicus's salvation to permeate your
I just don't like
being.
any of these phrasings, you know? I don't like any of them.
You're finished? So soon? Let me see. Yes, it would appear you are finished. A fast and accurate transcription. It seems you are destined for immortality.
So can I join the disciples of the Sanctus Medicus now?
Calm yourself.
You calm yourself.
The initiation is divided into 2 steps. You and the Cloud Knight have completed the first. Now, Only the second.
So there's only one left. Okay, can I say like I just don't like this guy at all, like at all. Like he's so like I know it goes. It's not like I'm discovering he's shady and no one else knows. Like he's like the essence of shady, right? It's such a shady
Sure, but
organization.
can it wait till tomorrow? I'm supposed to be on duty right now. They'll get suspicious if I don't head back soon.
No need to worry. The second step is extraordinarily simple. It'll all be over soon enough. The disciples' initiation is governed by the following principle. Never accept who you suspect, and never suspect who you accept.
Never accept who you
So-
suspect. Okay.
It's time for you two to battle it out.
Oh, that's not fair.
Whoever survives will officially become a disciple.
Oh, come on now. I'll pass. Should we say why? We know, like, in this battle, our character probably would win if it was a real fight.
Transcribing scripture allows us to ascertain your devotion, but determining whether or not you'll be loyal to the organization requires a stronger guarantee. Sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. I didn't write the rules.
I feel like the rules are a bit flimsy, though, as well. Like, to me, like, this whole thing is just, like, again, it's very realistic, in my opinion, in terms of, like, how these type of, like, let's just be honest here, how these, like, cults, like, really, like, can drag people in, but in some cases, like, how they try to prove devotion. They try to break, it's like the idea of, like, you know, almost, they want to, like, break us down to almost build us back up. They want us this thing where it's like, they, like, to show our devotion, we truly have to do stuff that, like, is either tedious, but in this case, kind of, like, not very pleasant at all, and like it will like change our whole perspective on things. Like it's like I had to beat someone up to get here, you know what I mean? I had to write out 500 lines to get here. You know, it's a physical feeling as well as an emotional feeling that goes along with this. We have the pain in our hand that will like remind us like of like we wrote 500 copies of this thing, and then we also have the pain of like hitting someone else or beating up someone else to remind us of like, you know, like what we also inflicted too. I feel like there's a lot that goes into like mind games with this, as well as physical stuff as well. I don't know.
Whoa. You're kidding, right? We came here to lengthen our lifespans, not shorten them. You can't just make us fight like this.
We aren't forcing you to fight. By all means, refuse if you wish. But we won't possibly be able to let either
Oh,
of you leave.
dude, you don't know what's happening here.
Fine. But at least let me prepare. I've never done anything like this before.
Very well. But you'll need to ask your opponent, too.
I don't mind either. I really don't mind.
Good. Then prepare yourselves. Time is precious. Make it quick.
Like even the aggressiveness of his voice as well. It's like an like the fact that like, you know, even standing there to make sure we're trapped in this small space as well. Everything in this is made to like put control over us and to make us feel like, you know, we are like not less, well, less than for sure, but like, you know, giving us tasks that like, and blocking off the exit, making sure telling us we can't leave unless we finish this off as well. Everything is made sure to let us know that we are not in control of this situation. It's very, I don't know, seedy.
I have an idea that will let you join the disciples of Sanctus Medicus and let me get the heck out of here in one piece. You and I fight, and I lose to you. I pretend that you finish me
Jesus.
off. Then you pretend to help them remove my body by dragging me out of here. That way, we both accomplish our objectives. Oh, I've seen your videos. Please don't mess up and actually.
Honestly, I do love that like again, it's like, I've seen you fight, please, you know. I know what I'm doing. I can't make any guarantees it'll be very funny, but I want to reassure this guy. He's clearly very scared.
Good. I knew I could trust you. My life is in your hands.
So, have you prepared yourselves? Are you ready to fight?
Let's do it.
And you, Cloud Knight?
I'm ready.
Then, let's begin.
Well then, take this.
Oh no. Oh no. So we have to fight him, but obviously we're not gonna like in the canon of this story, we're not genuinely hurting him too bad, which is fine. Oh Jesus Christ. I didn't even notice his health went down that fast. But then again, it like It's not like it's like, oh,
What
surprising.
magnificent skill! He was fierce, but no
Yeah,
match for
it's
you.
like, it's Stell, you know what I mean? Canonically, it is Stell, a trailblazer, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you prevailed. That Cloud Knight waltzed straight up to us in uniform and asked if he could join. Hardly a convincing spectacle. I doubt I ever could have trusted
And this is
him.
what's so funny. It's like, can't see the forest for the trees as well with their situation. I think a lot of people probably heard of us like arriving here, especially since the stuff with Bailu and all this stuff. But like in this case, this dude is none the wiser that we're clearly even, probably even a bigger threat to this organization that we're here as well, like going undercover. But he's acting all high and mighty that he freaking was able to catch this Cloud Knight out.
Purple chrysanthemum, blue peach. Find somewhere to dispose.
I'll
of the
do it.
body. Oh, you've dealt with this kind of thing before?
I have a long-term associate that handles problems like this. It's a side hustle.
A side hustle? Very well. These are hard times.
He's like, everyone needs a job, I guess.
This does have its advantages. Our brothers and sisters have been proselytizing and exalting sanctum over the last few days. We may have attracted the attention of the devils. Having you dispose of the Cloud Knight will be safer. As such, this can be your first mission as a disciple. You take an active approach to getting things done. I'll be sure to pass that on to my superiors. In any case, my hearty congratulations on your admission to the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus. From now on, you will be known by the code name, Grey Peony.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Grey Peony, let's depart separately to avoid attracting attention. We'll rendezvous at a different location later. Until then.
There's such a seedy arrogance to him, right? There's such a seedy arrogance to this guy.
I did a good job playing dead.
I mean,
didn't
yeah,
I?
I guess.
Those people are out of their minds. Watch your step next time.
No, I can tell. I can tell it because the thing is, he's talking very calmly, the guy who's like leading the whole thing, but he genuinely is like not, like, he's one of those people that like you can tell just like from the first step, he's like, either like he doesn't believe it and he's just trying to like be, you know, to take advantage of this situation here, or like he does believe it and his like calm and collectedness makes him sound even crazier to me, honestly. I'll be careful.
With your skills, you've got a better chance than most. I should report back to the seat of divine foresight. Stay safe, friend.
The Cloud Knight vigilantly monitors his surroundings after he's certain no one is tracking them. He makes a swift getaway. The good thing about the Cloud Knight armor, though, is that like you probably wouldn't, you know, no one's gonna really know, I guess, that you're a like that which Cloud Knight you are, because I wouldn't be able to tell which Cloud Knight you are just by like looking at you. So, yeah, like an interesting start to this quest as well. It really does like legit make me want to like stop these guys even more, because again, they clearly are like taking advantage of like, I think a lot of fears as well, right? A lot of fears that people have, because if you're someone who's like, let's say you're sick, right? And you're sick and you're, I know, actually, perfect example was that dude who felt like he was a burden to his family. It's taking advantage of those things that make people feel like less than. If your wife is like has a real big illness or something like this, by the way, what a crazy place to hold an evil meeting. If your wife has an illness or something like that, and you're like, well, if we both become immortal, then we'll be safe forever, right? It is taking advantage of people's fear of dying and people's fear of being, even in some cases, like not loved as much, or fear of being like a burden. Like this is like, it's disgusting. It is genuinely disgusting. And that guy gives off more bad vibes than I've seen in this game so far, you know? Oh, we got a text from the lady from the thing. So how's everything going? I've successfully infiltrated. That's good. I've always believed in your abilities. Thank you. Someone just reported, did you save a Cloud Knight? It was nothing. It was nothing. I wouldn't call it saving. We had a successful collaboration. Thank you very much for your help. The Cloud Knight had handed over all his intel to the seat of divine foresight. If it weren't for your help, he'd have had a hard time getting away. As you're already infiltrated the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, please keep monitoring their activities. Anything I should focus on? I've mentioned before that the Cloud Knight named Shishin went missing a few months ago. I want to know what happened to him, dead or alive, so I can finally give an answer to his family, of course. Let's avoid contacting each other from here on. If you're going to see him going in and out of the seat of divine foresight, those disciples are sure to become suspicious of you. Please come back in one piece, otherwise the general might be quite upset with me. That's so funny. The general is probably like, they're very worried that like what he might say if something bad happens to us. But yeah, like that's actually such a good reason to like want to find out what happened to someone, to tell their family what happened as well. Also, like the fact that we saved a Cloud Knight that in some ways probably was going to be not in some ways, like was pretty doomed. If they already suspected him and they didn't care if he was dead and that they had to dispose of his body, like if it wasn't us, it was probably gonna be someone else that like ended his life. This is such a gorgeous place, isn't it? Such a stunning place. Let's go over here to this mission.
Green Hibiscus agreed to meet me here, but there's no sight of him. What gives? There's a letter here. What's this on the envelope? Gray peony. This must be from Green Hibiscus.
Grey Peony, you've fully demonstrated your bravery and devotion to us. I'll now give you a chance to prove how loyal and reliable you are to the organization. The mission is of utmost importance, and I don't feel that comfortable in trusting it to others. Only a fighter like you can handle such an important task. Yesterday, a disciple absconded in disgrace. She posted a letter and defected. Good on her. Based on our investigation, it's an urgent missive to the seat of divine foresight. It shouldn't have arrived yet. Intercept it and help us mitigate our losses. Once you finish the arduous yet glorious task, I'll introduce you to the exalting Santin leader of the disciples of Santix Medicus. So long as she assents, you can begin your journey on the way to immortality.
The disciples sure know how to keep a low profile. Looks like I'll need to help them complete this mission. If they're looking to intercept mail, I should probably start by searching near Exalting Sanctum Psycrane stands.
Honestly, good. But yeah, like I think it's so interesting how we're gonna approach this as well. We're gonna probably like intercept the letter and be like, "Don't send it yet. Wait till later so I can get more information," or something like that. I suppose we'll have to see.
Do you know how to fix a star skip?
You rummage through packages on this screen stand, but you don't find the letter you're looking for.
Not on this stand. Let's check a different one.
Sure. I know we can go upstairs as well, so let's head upstairs. This actually is like a very like interesting mission though, right? Like I think they've done a really good job of not only making that group seem like really not even seem, making them really seedy and kind of scary at the same time too. But I love that they have all the intricacies here with the divine foresight stuff as well, and who they're sending in undercover and all the intercepted missions and stuff like this. I love this, how this world has just changed completely forever now, with that freaking tree sticking out of the ground, the ambrosial arbor. This is where we first met the guy.
What's written on this package? Seat of Divine Foresight, urgent. This is it. The mail the disciples want to intercept. Seems like it's encrypted somehow. Makes sense. This is critical intelligence after all. Let's see if I can crack the code.
Is there an actual code? Ah, interesting. A very interesting way to show like hacking, right? Very cool. Let's see. So we can switch this stuff around here by rotating it a little bit. Like that can get to there no problem, but then that moves around that as well. So if you choose to go to if you choose to go to this. No, sorry. Wait.
Code cracked.
Oh, yeah.
It's an internal order from the disciples of...
No, the reason I was like, wait, is because there's only one of them. Usually there's two of them. I guess it's just like, I guess I just expected it to be a little bit more, like harder, but it was actually like very straightforward.
Judging from these urgent instructions, the disciples are aware of a seed of divine foresight operation to infiltrate their ranks. No wonder Green Hibiscus was so eager to intercept this. I'll use my phone to make a copy and then hand it over to Green Hibiscus.
Oh, we have a message from Green Hibiscus then? Good, Pina, did you get the stuff? Got it. I've got it. Where are we meeting? Shh, there might be surveillance. There's a place we can copy scripture. This person in charge wants to see you as soon as possible. Do not reply. Man. Yeah, I'd feel compelled to reply. But we're in a very serious situation here as well. Because that's the thing, right? Like, that is also just another, like, good showing of, like, yes, these guys are, as you said, like, really, like, overconfident, and he's quite seedy, and is that the same place you were before? And he's like, you know, clearly not as, like, powerful as you might think he is, but this organization is enough that it's still, you know, scare. Like, I don't mean to downplay it ever, and I hope I don't downplay it ever, because the Order of the Medicus, right, the scientists Medicus, are the ones that, like, the general believes are truly, like, responsible for what happened with this Stellaron stuff, right? So, at least I think it's the same isn't it the same organization, you know? Because I know, like, some things have, like, similar names, but yeah. I think, yeah, that's what he was saying last time. So there is this thing where it's like, yes, this guy is, like, you know, just one guy, and it's so easy to look at him and just be like, this guy's so stupid, and he's being tricked right now by us, and, like, you know, all this stuff. But it is a very scary situation what they're doing. We've seen this stuff with the character at the start of this whole mission, as we said, that wanted to meet back with his family because he felt like a burden, and look what happened to him. Look what happened to him. He became Mara-struck. The Mara-struck thing is a serious situation. I can sit here until I'm blue in the face and be like, this guy sucks, you know, this guy, but, like, he comes from a very serious, like, or he, like, is leading a very seriously horrible situation, like, legitimately so, you know. So, like, it's one of those things where, like, we have to, like, you know, work really hard to make sure this works out. Legitimately so hard.
Mauve Moon, this is the reliable disciple I mentioned to you. Great.
I mean, at least they're calling us reliable already, right?
Grey Peony, this is Mauve Moon, the head of our operations in Exalted.
Oh, he's the head of it.
It seems you have some impressive skills in your arsenal.
How much could you bench? You look kind of weak. You're too kind.
No need for modesty. I've studied martial arts for years. I can tell how strong you are with just a glance.
Okay.
You seem like you've got it all figured out. What brings you to the disciples of Sanctus Medicus?
I despise the hunt. I want to become even stronger. I want to gain immortality. I want to become even stronger sounds like a very, like, you know, because since he noticed our strength, it might be a good idea to say this.
Good. So do I. I used to think determination and hard work were enough to achieve
Oh,
that.
no.
But I've come to realize it's not that
Oh,
simple.
but it can be very much that simple. It's just like in some situations, as we said, and I keep bringing it back to that guy who was injured, or not even injured, sorry, someone who just felt like a burden to his family. He didn't have the ability to put in the same type of, like, you know, exercise or, like, strength training that many others would have as well. So that's why he turned to this, right? But it's again, this shouldn't even be an option. It should not be an option. There's ways for people to have, like, very fulfilled lives, and people, of course, are going to turn to this type of stuff if they know that they don't have, like, if they know that they have the option to try and turn to this stuff, right? And if they're desperate enough for that type of stuff.
During my many years as a Cloud Knight, I realized something. An individual's strength is limited. So I abandoned my mortal body and became a faithful servant of merciful Medicus.
I hate even the way they speak about it, right? It's so awful.
Here, take this prescription. Through this medicine, you will become like me. You will be able to break
He just
the
gave it to us?
shackles that the devilish archer author has used to chain your
Oh my
soul.
God.
You will gain unbridled power. And
So this is the way this is the way they see this, is the idea of, like, that mortality is a curse. It is a sickness, and when you become immortal, that's when you, like, break free from this prison, right?
The disciple responsible for creating medicinal pellets heard of your exploits. They prepared the prescription for you personally. Some of the ingredients can be purchased at an apothecary, but others will require you to come up with your own solution. Given your strength, that shouldn't.
So you didn't give me the actual medicine itself, give me the ingredients list? Is that what we had here?
Do you have any questions?
Yes, a lot. How many people are in our organization?
I don't know. I've heard our members are in the tens of thousands.
Oh, that's even scarier.
The Disciples of Sanctus Medicus has a flat organizational structure. The head of each area reports directly to the master. I know nothing about what goes on.
No, that's genuinely terrifying. The fact that there's that many.
The benefit is that even if our enemies were to wipe out the Exalting Sanctum branch, it wouldn't affect our brothers and sisters in other areas.
So it's literally like, oh yeah, you destroyed this, you got rid of the weeds over here, but look at these just popped over here, you know? It's like, that's very scary. Who prepares the prescriptions?
That's sensitive information. I know who they are, but for their security, I can't reveal their identities. It's not that I doubt your loyalty, Grey Peony. It's like I said, security.
And can I meet the boss?
The boss? You mean the master? You'll meet them, but for now there's no rush. All in good
And again,
time.
this is something that this is something that highly, immoral political factions will do, highly immoral religious factions will do, even just factions in general that are like, that take themselves, and again, there's nothing wrong with having titles and stuff, I guess, in certain aspects. When you're in, there's certain cultures even that have honorary, honorifics, where you will just do, you'll talk to, like in, I've been, getting into K-pop and stuff like that, so like the idea of like uni and, and stuff like that for like someone who's a little bit older than you and stuff like that. But like, I'm talking about like, in terms of like organizational stuff like this, if they're very serious about like how you should title them in this way, right? Because here's the thing, calling them the boss, that doesn't mean, like, you know what she meant. Everyone would know what she meant, you know what I mean? But in this case, they're making sure that you call them by the master. And that's also a technique for control. It is. It's to make sure that no matter what, at all times, they remind you, this isn't a casual thing. This isn't your friend. This isn't, dad or mom or anything. This is the master. And it's to reiterate that. This is the master,
Keep fulfilling your duties, as you have been. With your strength, you'll have an audience with the master in no time.
Why did you join the organization?
I'm ashamed to admit it, but I once worked alongside those devils.
Devils, by the way.
I trained in spear techniques for almost a century. I nearly became a Cloud Knight instructor.
Wasn't it the denizens of abundance that also believe if you go against their god that you were just straight up, it's like you will be punished? Isn't that what they believe as well?
But I was trapped in a weak mortal shell. I was never able to surpass the final barrier that separated me from the martial arts geniuses.
That's what's so frustrating about this. That's your skill level. That's how wherever you got to, that's how much work and how much skill you will have. And you should be proud of how far you get. Everyone should be proud of how far you get because everyone works hard in different ways. Again, this is what I'm saying. They would not do this if they didn't have the option to do this. You know what I mean? Do you know how many people every day in our lives like don't get to fulfill their paths and their dreams, even though like they're the most talented people in the world? You know what I mean? Just it doesn't happen for everyone.
Fortunately,
it's awful, but it doesn't.
Draconic surge, the prescription you hold in your hand, rescued me.
Rescued. There's another word. Rescued.
Once I took that medicine, I became more powerful than any mortal could ever dream of.
The words they're using, right? Rescued, freed, shackles, cured. All these words, right? To make someone who's just like us, who's just human, who's just living our lives. Again, trying to downplay like our existence, right? You are sick. You are broken. You are not free. You are shackled. You know what I mean? You are being contained. I will rescue you. I will break you free from your shackles. I will set you free. I will cure you. All these things to make someone who's already down on their freaking luck and already feeling terrible about themselves feel even worse and feel like this is the way to go about it.
Now, everything has changed. Jersine and his pitiful spearmanship are no more. All that remains is a loyal disciple of merciful Medicus.
Jishin? What'd you say your name was? Were you an undercover agent for the Seed of Divine Foresight? Oh my god! Wait! Wait! What did you say your old name was? Is this the guy who went missing?
Wait. You recognize me? Where do you know me from? Your face changed when you heard me.
Is it the freaking Cloud Knight that went missing?
Mav Moon, sir, we have a problem. I suspect this person may be the agent who's been looking for you.
Oh my god.
Idiot! What kind of trials are you running? You let an agent infiltrate our ranks?
That is freaking nuts.
I couldn't have known, sir. I witnessed this person slay a Cloud Knight before my very eyes.
No, they're still alive. That's a great reveal, by the way. And they did it so subtly. This game loves doing stuff in such like an honest and normal way, right?
Detestable. The devilish archer author allows these pitiful mortals to face
Pitiful mortals, there it is again.
fear. Self-sacrifice is their way of fooling us into opening our doors.
You really got an active imagination. I don't think I've said anything to reveal my identity. I'm done. Let's do this. You can come and be together. Let's go.
In that case, Divine Foresight Devil, it's time for you to meet your demise.
You're done. You're donezo. You're donezo. Let's go. I knew you could tell where this was going, guys. You could tell where this was going.
Sin. Recount.
Want to see what I can do?
We've entered the storm. To guard and defend. Crush them.
Single target, single target? Why do we have to hold this time? Oh. I was like, why you make me hold this?
Dodge this!
Her moves are so fun. Legitimately so
You'll
fun.
pay for this. Lend me your strength.
Let me through!
Look at that stuff as well. We could restore, but I feel like... Yeah, we're getting rid of this guy anyway here.
Still in denial? I shall be the judge.
Want to see what I can do? You're not going anywhere!
She's awesome.
Oh, mercy of Sanctus Medicus. Grant me a body impervious to steel.
What?
The courage of 1,000 armies. A strength that 10,000 foes cannot suppress.
They're so... Like, again, it's this ambition.
You're a match for me, devil? Your death is inevitable. Surrender, and I'll make it quick.
No, absolutely horrible.
Recount.
It is like 110% to be a delusion, right? It's a delusion brought on from feeling down about yourself, you know? It's the feeling that like we all feel like, you know, our mortality in numerous different ways, right? We all do. We generally all do feel it in some way, right? And at some points we do feel like, man, if I could live forever, I could see this, you know what I mean? And people who are like, you know, sick or dying will feel that way too. Man, I wish I was immortal, you know what I mean? So obviously it's that way too.
I will remember your kindness.
But that's what it's taking advantage of, right? It's the people that, like, you know, are down on themselves in that way, that feel that fear of death.
Mav Moon was the agent that Xianzhou lost contact
Yeah.
with. He joined the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. I should go to the seat of divine foresight and tell Xianzhou. I don't know if this mission was a success or a failure.
Scary. That's what it was in the end. We got some information there, didn't we, with the I don't know where you find that stuff though. Oh no, it's in the I forget where you find this stuff. It's not in the guide. Or is it in the guide? No, that's a different thing. Let's go guide. It's not in... I know we found it before. Is it in the data bank? Oh, you have a lovely phone, Sushang. You have a lovely phone. Is it in the data bank? Bookshelf. Bookshelf. In terms of new items. So we have 5 of these as well, so... Okay. So I think what might be good then... is if we have the time, because there's a lot of these stuff here as well. There's a lot of this stuff here as well. I definitely think we could do this in like one episode, right? So this is the one we got, was the undelivered letter. We have this one as well, which is the one we just got. Can I actually check which one we just got so we can read that maybe now and then read the other ones as well a bit as well. Oh my god, you'll see that on Sunday, guys. I got an achievement for getting every thing in leeway. Let me just check here now as well. Now, Calvin, do not annoy me with your voice. Calvin, shut up. Calvin, be quiet. Wait, what was it called? Disciples of... Oh, we don't know which one it was. That's fine. We'll read all of them at some point. I think it'd be very good to read all of them. I do think it would be good to read all of them when we have the time for sure. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Such a great reveal. As I said, so natural and just like dropping the name like that as well, and how we like kind of realize. And I love that like probably our face gave it away and stuff. I guess there's nothing much else we could say as well. There's the messenger.
What is your purpose for entering the seat of divine foresight?
Man, the fact that we're in this building here, look at this. Wait, this is different than one we were in before, right? Because the one we were in before was like much bigger than this. So this is, okay, I get it now. There's like a, is this, what stone, what did you call this again? Is this just Pai Sho? But I could be wrong. Please let me know, guys. And this is the character we're reporting to. Look at this, by the way. Oh my god, the glaives and the spears on the wall as well. They're very much like this whole place is very much a kind of spear and glaive oriented like culture in terms of war stuff, right? Oh, that's a beautiful skylight as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful skylight. Oh, should we? I shouldn't have swore, but hey, we swore. I should be collecting more stuff like this, so we can read it in our times too. The General's Diary. We'll see what time we have at the end of this as well. I definitely don't mind reading stuff out as well, reading some stuff as well, if we have the time for sure.
I'm glad to see you've returned in one piece. So, what happened? Did everything go as planned?
No.
Don't worry. Your operation was a success.
Yeah?
Although your identity was ultimately exposed, you gained a wealth of invaluable intelligence. On top of that, you managed to get out without a scratch.
Honestly, I adore this gal that she's, that's seen as a success, right?
I never imagined that Jersine would choose the path of evil.
It feels like it is one of the most manipulative like ways of getting people to join you, right? Is the fear of like death, the fear of your illness, the fear of people around you leaving you, the fear of not being good enough. All this stuff is so manipulative to me.
You did the right thing. I'm afraid this is how the Plague's author operates. Using notions of power and life to draw countless people like Jersine away from bright futures.
Yes.
Down a path of no return.
That's the thing. And like for people like that, like legitimately who are like, oh, I'm not strong enough, I have to get stronger. Like in 3 years' time, they could do something or train harder or do something that would lead them to a path that could have been the most amazing thing in the world. But they'll never know that because of the path that was the manipulation that happened here.
You've managed to shine a light on the darkness of the enemy. With this intelligence, the Seed of Divine Foresight will be able to improve its strategy.
That's cool.
And for all your efforts, please accept this reward. Is there anything else you'd like to know about?
Yes. Tell me about the current state of the Santis Medicus, because we heard there's tens of thousands, right?
The current state. I'm afraid we know next to nothing. We dispatched agents, but they were only able to linger on the edges of the organization. Your operation is the furthest anyone's managed to infiltrate.
Wow. That is kind of scary to think about as well, though. The idea that like we got the furthest out of this as well, you know?
The Seed of Divine Foresight is still striving to answer one question. Is this but the resurgent shadow of an organization silenced 1,000 years ago? Or have they been lurking in the darkness all along?
That... I adore you, gal, but that's also terrifying. That's so scary.
Whatever the case, this sudden reemergence hints at a hidden conspiracy. It's troubled me deeply over recent few months. It's hard to tell what all of this is building towards.
So what she's saying here is that the idea that, like, they were wiped out from this Xianzhou before. And now that they're resurging and there's stuff happening with the Ambrosian Arbor and all this stuff, like, it's like... now you have that idea where it's like, wait, have I missed stuff all along? Or is this a thing where, like, they just showed up and, like, I didn't miss stuff? Both things are very kind of scary, but I think the idea that they're right under your nose for so long is even scarier. Did you send a lot of people to undercover?
Not at all. The Disciples' secret letter makes it sound as if we infiltrated their ranks in great numbers. The reality is that only a handful of agents have successfully slipped into the organization. And the majority of them lacked the strength you had to make it back unscathed after their identity was exposed. They didn't have the wisdom and good fortune to gain the organization's trust quickly.
Well, we got very lucky with that cloud night as well, in fairness.
An agent can't actually consume those pellets of the Disciples. Doing so would mean the end of their life as they knew it.
Like, how dangerous is that to send people into that situation, you know?
The point is, there hasn't been anyone like you who managed to delve into the group's core and obtain so much first-hand information.
So yeah, and that makes sense, the idea that, like, you wouldn't want to send people into that situation anyway. So tell me about the beliefs of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus.
Thousand-handed Merciful Medicus's salvation is a manuscript transcribed from a sacred text. I don't know where the disciples obtained it. It likely consists of fragments of banned works from the Befall era. As I see it, there isn't anything particularly alarming about the text. It recalls the acts of the Plague's author's warped creatures from an equally warped perspective.
Okay.
The scripture doesn't have the power to lead people astray. They do that to themselves. But it does feed lies.
Yeah, it's not magical. It's manipulation. About the prescription that Shishin gave me?
The prescription you acquired is beyond my knowledge. There are a few reliable alchemists that reside in Exalting Sanctum. I'd like to ask you to consult with them on the particulars of the prescription. This will allow the Seed of Divine Foresight to have a clear target for creating an antidote.
100%. Yeah, whatever you need.
Given that the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus has become aware of our operation, it's about time the Seed of Divine Foresight reeled in its net. If you turn up any details about the prescription, feel free to come back and find me anytime.
So, I do like what she's saying here, and actually, like, again, it makes me have faith in these guys, like, even more. So you have to go to Xianzhou Loufu, Exalting Sanctum. The fact that, like, the response to this isn't like, we'll have to, you know, kind of wait and see. There's a bit of a wait and see attitude, but it's also like, we got to do this. We got to do something. We have to do something. They know that we're infiltrating. We're not going to be able to infiltrate ever again. And that's just true. Like, it's what she's saying is so true. Is that, like, and I know she didn't say directly you won't be able to infiltrate again, but, like, there is a feeling of, like, for me where it's like it's gonna be so difficult. They're gonna be in such high alert. You know what I mean? Next time around, whoever gets sent in there is basically, like, you know, juggling with their lives, basically.
Can I help you?
You saying what transpired to the alchemist?
The Seed of Divine Foresight? Let me see the prescription. Oh, heavens above.
Heavens above?
It's a horrifying prescription, and I can't make any sense of it.
Okay.
Go and ask Lady Dan Shu. She's our chief alchemist. She may be sightless, but she's more qualified than all of us. She's no stranger to helping others, either. Always prescribing medicine to those in need, and free of charge. She'll certainly be willing to help the Seed of Divine Foresight. You can find her at Sinwood Pavilion.
Thank you so much. You could tell he was terrified too. They do such a good job of using, like, in Honkai Star Rail, I feel they do such a good job of, like, using, like, very natural conversations to terrify you, right? And to make things feel, like, very important. Just his voice going, that is a, yes, can you go find this person? Like, it instantly makes it seem like, you know, this person can't deal with this. And he doesn't want to deal with this. Very, very, interesting way of doing it. A very interesting way of doing it. Love how this place looks.
I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Wait, for real? How do you know it's me?
You have a very distinct scent. Losing one sense forces the other senses to become sharper.
Okay, so what do we smell like, I wonder?
I heard from other alchemists you have a prescription you wish me to assess. Can you read it to me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I actually did say sure. I went back to pressing X, guys. I've been pressing circle this whole time. I went back to X. I don't know why. I've been pressing circle this whole time.
A strange and dangerous prescription, but I believe I understand the pharmacology. It involves drawing upon the strength of long scions to attain the power of ascension.
Long Scions is the dragons, right? Yeah, it's dragons.
The specifics, however, will require further investigation. This will take some time. I could hardly happen upon Vidyadhara bone marrow and test the prescription myself, could I? Leave your contact details with me. When I've completed my assessment of the pharmacology, I'll get in touch with you.
No problem. Oh, so there's another mission that goes on to this as well? I didn't even know. We can't do this right now just yet. Yeah. We have a message from Bailu and she says, well, so we have, but you're still busy with, still I have a completely understanding of Drodronic search for college, we're still busy with troubles in Xianzhou right now? At a time like this? No worries, come find me when you're free. I shall be waiting for you at the Sinwood Pavilion. So there's another Sinners Misled, Credence Falsified. So what's really great about the Fates Atlas, by the way, is that they actually show you the stuff here, like what you can do. And I think that's actually really, really cool. And obviously I have like a list as well if I needed to, so I didn't have to go here sometimes. So it seems like you can get the mission here. That's where it is in the timeline, I guess. But then you can do, after doing this, you can also do this stuff too. Which is pretty freaking cool. It's actually like really cool that they do keep you on like that that path, so you don't have to like, you know, stray from it, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, she mentioned, I guess, like the idea of the long scions and how it's like, you know, taken from the long scions, which I guess is the Vidyadhara. So I guess that's what she's going to be finding now. So we can do that mission now, no problem. But also there's like an element, like just to talk about like what happened in this mission, so the mission we just did. This is like a super important adventure mission for this game. You know what I mean? And like it's like shockingly one of those things again that it's like, I think, you know, this probably should have been like part of the main mission, but I do think, you know, giving people options is always a good thing as well. We have learned, I guess we already knew like some aspects of like, you know, the idea of like immortality and why they would want to do this, and we saw the manipulation they had as well, but I think it's even scarier now because not only do they know that we're trying to infiltrate their ranks, we're trying to, you know, stop them like very directly, they're also like, you know, we're very aware that they could be, it could be lies, it could be the truth, that they are like a bigger organization we thought, they're more powerful than we thought, which again is a terrifying prospect. The idea that this group could even have that much power in the first place, that's awful, you know what I mean? But also like it's just showing us that anyone can get manipulated by this stuff. Anyone. By all accounts, the dude here was that got manipulated, who used to be a Cloud Knight, was legitimately considered to have a bright future. He was someone that was respected. He was someone that people liked. And still, he had parts of himself that he wanted to improve to the point that he believed that he needed this stuff as well. Not only that, but they're willing to kill people who get in their way. And we know this because like it's a thing where like look at this. Oh my god. We know this just because of how like, you know, awful they are in general, but like we know this also because they are, you know, like the clear manipulation that they have of some people here as well is just so on the surface and dark and twisted to me because it is taking advantage of people at their lowest points. We saw this with the medicine stuff back in Balebog. It's like you could say, well, everyone like is responsible for themselves, 100%. But if the option's not there, they will not take that option. That's the end of, right? That destructive medicine that was destroying people's lives, right? It is a horrible, horrid medicine, right? And people might say, well, they took it themselves. It was them who took it. Yeah, but if it wasn't there, they would never have taken it. The responsibility lays on the people that are doing the manipulation. We started this whole journey here in the Xianzhou with a story. If you read that story, some people might not have read it. If you read the story, a story of how it starts, how the manipulation starts, and then we saw it on full display of what they were trying to do. They were trying to indoctrinate us. They were trying to control us. They were trying to like make it seem like this was the greatest choice that we ever made in our lives. Now, if I was someone who was, you know, either depressed, I was, you know, so obsessed with getting stronger, I was already so down on myself that it was making me so depressed all the time. I, you know, maybe had a sick relative. I had someone in my life who, I felt like I was like, you know, and the perfect example is like this guy who shouldn't have, but he felt like a burden. And then he finds this organization of people that are going to give him this hope. That's what it is. That's one of the biggest manipulation tactics in the history of the universe. Dictators have used this to a staggeringly successful degree, is the idea of using hope to, it's using hope to manipulate people, that things will get better. Because yeah, fear is powerful. Fear is super powerful. But if you can give someone hope, things will get better if you come with me. If you let me lead, things will get better. And that type of thing people buy into. And it's not just like, people might think like, oh, well, like, it couldn't be me, you know what I mean? It couldn't be my country. My country's not like that. You'll find a lot of times as well, look at like famous speeches from like presidents of different countries that consider themselves to be like, you know, very civilized in a lot of ways, you know what I mean? That will maybe even call other countries uncivilized. I would never say that, but you know what I mean? They have presidents that like have used the idea of hope before, you know what I mean, to get people to be on the side. You know, things will get better. We're gonna put an end to this. You know what I mean? And it's like, and people are like, yes, oh my God, yes, he's the man to do it. He is the man to do it. I don't know. It's just such a really disgusting way of doing things. We actually got like some wishes from the standard banner. I've saved up like quite a few jades here, by the way. So we're gonna do a 10 warp on this just before we go on with the next mission. Passkey. Or one of these. Fine fruit. Passkey. Cornucopia. Adversarial. Shattered home. Sagacity. We got Arlan! That's such a, oh my God, I love doing this because again, there's so many characters I don't have, so we're still getting so many surprises with like 4 stars. That's awesome. That's so awesome. We got Arlan. That's so great. That's so great. And then we'll do another, we can just do regular warps now as well. I just skip it forward. That's awesome. I'm so happy with that. And then honestly, like getting these light cones, not a bad idea either. You know what I mean? Wait, there's another, you can get like, is there another thing where you get a certain amount of, jade wishes and then they like, oh, really? If you do 300 warps, you get an extra 5-star character. That's really interesting, right? And you eventually would get there, right? You eventually would. Okay. How many do I have left? 3? That's fine. We got Ireland, which is really cool. Mutual Demise looks awesome too. And our last warp for this banner.
Ah, you're back. From the sound of your stride, I sense you're in good spirits.
Oh? You got that right?
Many who undertake the far-reaching journey to the Xianzhou are weighed down by a heavy heart and exhaustion. But your steps are bold and steady, a stride worthy of a nameless. Let's get down to business. I analyzed the prescription you procured, the draft of Draconic Surge.
Okay.
Now that I have a preliminary conclusion, it needs to be delivered to the seat of divine foresight.
Just, sorry, what a setting that we're here talking about this in front of, you know? What is the conclusion?
The conclusion. Put simply, I don't believe that the draft of Draconic Surge holds the cure to the Mara. Even in the foreseeable future, there will likely not be any such cure.
So there's... She's kind of seeing that this might not be the antidote we're looking for.
I've compiled the details into a written analysis. If you're interested, feel free to take a look. This is a copy of pharmacological studies on the draft of Draconic Surge. If the Chief Counselor wants to see it urgently, I'll have to ask you to deliver it for me.
No problem. No problem, Danshu. No problem. That's, is that another aspect as well here as well? Like, there's like so much like information here as well that we get here. So this is the studies on the drought of Draconic Surge. Before we talk about the pharmacology behind the drought of Draconic Surge, you must step back a little and discuss the principles behind longevity. For the most creatures of flesh and blood in the cosmos, for longevity often is an indicator of something else. Cancer. It describes cells proliferating beyond their designated lifespan and order, becoming immortal and eating away at the host body until they both perish. Jesus. In fact, after tens of thousands of years of competition as well as trial and error, some cancer cells have mutated to be capable of living independently of a host and can even corrode other creatures with their longevity. Year 7142 of the star calendar saw a serious plague erupting on the planet of Yugoret, which was under the Intelligentsia Guild's rules. It was later discovered that the vector was a type of cancer cell originated from a creature of the Anathosa subfilum and had gained the capacity to cross the species barrier due to the chance mutation. From a purely medical standpoint, us long-life species are entirely composed of immortal cells, yet we maintain an equilibrium within our bodies. This is quite an impossible feat. Put simply, the secret of the Xianzhou natives and the Foxians is that our cells can shift as needed between differentiated cells and stem cells. This conversion obeys specific rules that will never create a single error? So wait. Their cells can shift. Okay, 1 second here. Long life species are composed of immortal cells, so that would be Foxians. So maybe I got that wrong before. Yeah, there's so many terms here as well, right? Long life species, I think, could be related to Foxians as well, then. Okay. The rule dictating this conversation is the ultimate secret among secrets. It is not set according to internal hormonal levels or any other parameters, but a standard set in stone the moment the individual was born. As the cells shift between differentiation and omnipotence, the person's bodily characteristics are forever set as the original standard. This is kind of confusing to me. The rules dictating this conversion is the ultimate secret among secrets. It is not set according to internal hormonal levels or any parameters, but a standard set in stone. So when you're born, that's your standard. And when the cells shift between differentiation and the omnipotence, the person's characteristics are set at their original standard. We call this phenomenon, which goes against the fundamental creed of biology, as the miracle of plague's author. At a certain critical point of long life species life cycle, the power from this plague's author will suddenly enter a new stage. The original standard will be overridden, and the body will start to develop catastrophically, turning a civilized human into a mindless abomination. This is what we call Marastruck. So the Marastruck is when the original standard is overwritten from the original standard of cells is overwritten. And it says here and the body will start to develop catastrophically. So it like overdevelops to the point that you become a mindless abomination, I think is what we're getting here. Plague's author. It is commonly thought that the source of the Vidihara's immortality is different from that of the Xianzhou's natives and Foxians. The Vidihara race did not gain immortality from the plague's author. Instead, as the descendants of the long the dragon, the majesty of permanence flows in their blood. So they didn't gain immortality from this. It's the fact that they just like have that's in their blood. Due to this unique characteristics, Vidihara also exhibit a life cycle different from the other long-life species. Their life consisting of reverting from maturity to an infantile stage in the unending cycle, that's when they become an egg again, relies upon continuous cellular transdifferentiation. This is the reason why Vidihara do not face ailments of immortality that many other long-life species have to contend with. So, because their cycle involves them becoming back to being an egg, that's why they don't have to... So ailments of immortality, is that the Mara-struck thing? Is that why Vidihara can't get Mara-struck then? The core principle of the Drought of the Draconic Surge is that transfer the draconic power into a different organism. Dio Angelica, Frost Mulberry, and Luminescent Sea Cucumber, all these ingredients have only one core purpose, which is to maintain and reanimate the stem cells within the Vidihara bone marrow, allowing it to function within the host after the injection. So this is, they want to get this draconic power that is immune to these ailments and transfer them into other bodies? That's pretty crazy. For long-life species, this medication could trigger Mara in a more controlled manner, making the bodily organs go out of control in a more controlled manner. Under the dragon's guidance, instead of growing capacity with the plague's author's power, the host would then gain power only available to the Mara-struck while retaining their sanity. So, if you were able to get the same benefits that a Vidihara has of like being immune to the ailments of immortality, then when you become Mara-struck, you will get the Mara-struck power, the strength, the ability, the unrelenting, power that you get, but you'll still be yourself. As for short-life species, this medication would forcibly graft the power of the dragons into their body. Jesus Christ, this brutal transplantation will cause a rapid elevation of bodily capacities for a short duration, significantly improving the short-life species' fragile physiologies. However, once the cells from the long scions have all perished to the host's immune system, the host's physiology will suffer a catastrophic regression. The only thing that can suppress or revert such decline might be the other miracle drugs developed by disciples of Sanctus Medicus. So if you put this into, like, a regular human, I'm guessing. If you put this into a regular human, eventually, yes, they will get the power of the dragons, but it will, like, because they are already fragile, eventually they will regress. Okay. As stated above, the seed of divine foresight tasked me to analyze this pharmacology of this medicine, and will the likely goal of preparing an antidote. No antidote can possibly exist from the Drought of Draconic Surge. The core of this medication pharmacology is to manually trigger Mara in people using the power of dragons. If you can prepare an antidote such as medication, then being stricken with Mara will no longer be a fatal condition. So it's using the power of the long scions, using the power of the draconic power to, like, create Mara, to like create, like, Mara-struck people, I guess. But there's no actually cure that is from the Drought of Draconic Surge. In some cases, right, they're using this because obviously they said the people of the Vidihara don't have to deal with these ailments that come along with the stuff here. So if you were able to, like, again, they said here, if you transfer the different organism, but if you put it into a long life species body, this can trigger Mara in a more controlled manner, but this will let them gain their power while regaining their sanity if you do it in a long life species, but in short life species it causes regression. But the core principle of this surge is to transfer draconic power into a different organism. But there is no cure within this as well, at least according to what was said, or according to what Don Shu has found. Sorry guys, sometimes, like, I need to read over stuff a few times. I think you guys said you don't mind as well, because, like, it is better for me to, like, try and understand stuff that way than just, like, being confused the whole time. Because it will be confused, but at least, like, we'll be less confused, if you know what I mean. Let's talk to Xianzhou.
You're back. Anything you wanted to share?
Something not very good.
Wow. Even for those alchemists, that was fast.
It was Don Shu who figured it out.
Don Shu? Wait, why would the Alchemy Commission's chief alchemist be away from her post?
Oh, she's away from her post?
I've heard that the chief alchemist is visually impaired. She rarely leaves the Alchemy Commission delve. She has a vast knowledge and expertise. No wonder she was able to analyze the pharmacology so quickly.
Yeah, she did a very good job of this.
Let me see her report.
It's not great, right? It's not great. Her expression is serious and she completes reading Danshu's report.
No cure? Where did these villains get their hands on such a complex prescription? This is infuriating. Still, this is a clue we can follow. Thank you. Please accept these gifts for your efforts.
Thank you. You've already rewarded me. You're too polite. You're being too polite.
Please, take them. You've done so much for the Loufu, for the Xianzhou. This is the least I could do.
Very kind. Oh, we got a message for Danshu as well. Stella, do you have some time? There's some issues with which I'd like your expertise. Can you drop by Simwood Pavilion? Wait, I'm coming over. At your earliest convenience will be best. Yeah, 100%. So what rewards did she actually give us something there? Like, yeah, it's not that we need any rewards, obviously, for, like, you know, doing what we've done here, right? I forgot you can just go to the mission target like this. It's actually fantastic. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a little bit like, I have a real nervous feeling about this whenever they go into, like, experimentations and, you know, even this, like, with the idea of transferring draconic power to other organisms is pretty freaking terrifying.
On such short notice.
What can I help you with?
My stay in Exalting Sanctum was supposed to be focused on treating people and delivering medicine. But the Seat of Divine Foresight tasked me with analyzing the prescription. I've been severely delayed.
Okay. So what she's saying is that, like, because of this task that she was given here, she's delayed.
I've already concocted some of the medicine in question, but there can't be any further delays. Could you assist me in ensuring it arrives on time?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Thank you. The patient in question is a little girl. If she's gotten into any trouble, be sure to let me know when you get back. This is the medicine. Her house is near the Court of Tranquility. It shouldn't be hard to find her.
I'll go do that. No, legitimately there as well. Like, not even joking. Like, during the conversation with Shinsu, pressing circle the whole time. Went back to X. I think it's just an instinct thing, right? You'd press X more often than not when you're trying to do stuff, I guess. But yeah, that's... Oh, I keep thinking we can go down here. She helped us out, so I have no problem helping her out with this stuff as well. No problem whatsoever. And yeah, even though we read some of the databike stuff, I will get, like, some terms wrong. Like, even when they talk about long-life species, I thought they meant, like, you know, immortal denizens at one point. But yeah, I'm going to get stuff wrong. Long-life species, I think, are just, like, Foxians, right? And Xianzhou natives. While short-life species are humans. Yeah, I'm going to get stuff wrong. I will get stuff wrong, and it's going to happen. But we're going to learn more and more as we're going forward.
Is this the one Danshu sent me to find?
Wait, what?
Does she come here to treat other sightless people?
Is there any adults? There's like 50 adults here. And no one's saying a thing. Jesus Christ.
Aw, little Miss Lady can't see ahead.
Oh my
Can't
freaking
see
God.
Right, can't see left. Heads to the east, ends up west.
There was literally like 20 adults hanging around this area. Where's your parents?
She's stuck.
Oh my God, oh my God. Where are your parents?
Hey, what you looking at, Outworlder? Mind your own business.
This is my business now. Yeah, so cocky, huh?
Who do you think you are? Keep your nose out of this. I beat people up all the time.
You are a toddler. You are a child. Go home.
Yeah, get lost. Stop meddling in our business.
You are a child. You don't have business. Nothing is your business right now. Go do something else. Your business should be go playing somewhere else. Oh my God. The arrogant comes up to you and punches you. Stand strong, unmoving, but the boy falls backward from the reaction of force. Yeah, I bet he did. Toddler. I'm not here to pick fights with kids, by the way.
Boss!
Boss? Oh, you calling your boss?
Stop yelling. willing and help me up already.
Oh, well, if it isn't the consequences of my action, the lesson that apparently my parents aren't teaching me.
They used some kind of hidden power. I saw it. You're a cheater.
The hidden power is you are babies. Go home.
That's right. If you hadn't cheated, I would have knocked your lights out.
Oh my god. Where are your parents?
You sure about that, boss? They didn't even flinch.
It's not an achievement to beat you in a fight. You're a kid.
Ugh, shut up! Boss, let's get out of here. We shouldn't fight anyone that doesn't respect martial
Oh yeah,
arts.
go off and respect the martial arts at home then. Go on. Judging by how you're acting right now, your parents haven't taught you that this is wrong in any way. God help anyone who has to work with you when you're older. I hope someone tells you what's right and wrong very quickly. Honestly.
I'll let you off the hook this time. Next time we fight fair and square.
Oh yeah, sure. Go on with your business. Yeah, go on. Fine, go back to your parents. Treat each other flee from the scene while disgruntled. You take a chance to lead the girl away from the side of conflict. I'm not in the business with fighting with kids, by the way. Jesus Christ, like, you know. But there was like 20 adults around there. It's a pretty crowded area. No one's saying a thing.
Thank you for helping me.
Oh my god, you're adorable. Do not worry about it whatsoever. Other people should have stepped in way before me. Legitimately so. Are you okay?
I'm okay. It's my fault.
No.
I shouldn't have wandered off on my own. Then I wouldn't have run into those guys.
No. This isn't something that should happen normally. They suck. They're awful. They're awful kids with probably really awful parents. Who do, like, again, and I don't want to judge people like that, right, by the way, but Jesus Christ, how do you not know that's not freaking good to do that?
They always laugh at me
Oh
for
my.
being blind.
Oh.
And they like to trip me up and steal my things.
I cannot. Dirty little bullies. Oh my god, I want to scream and cry at the same time. But Calvin, they're just kids. Yes, I told you I'm not in the business of fighting kids. I want to know where their parents are.
Thank goodness you were here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let
That
me
was
off so
easy.
easily.
That was easy. They had her standing on a pond as they freaking, like, literally, like, made fun of her so, in such a hurtful way. Can we, like, get her something from the stall or something like that? Or, like, get her, like... I swear to God, man. Is this the last time we're gonna see this kid? Danshu wants me to deliver this medication to you.
Oh, Danshu asked you to come?
Oh my God, I literally want to cry and scream at the same time.
Things are bad on the Loufu recently. Danshu must be very busy.
Oh.
Thank you, miss. Remember to thank her for me.
Oh my God, you're making me so... I'm gonna cry. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. The little girl takes the medicine and runs the way she came. Oh my God.
Why does she wander about alone? Well,
No.
I've delivered the medicine.
Please.
I should report back to Danshu.
Please don't... Like, is that the last time we're gonna see that poor little kid? Oh my freaking God. They're gonna bully her twice as hard next time. That's what happens. Unless I, like, talk to their parents or talk to somebody like that, like, they're gonna bully her twice as hard next time. And it's horrible to even say, but that's what's gonna happen. Because now they're embarrassed. And they're gonna take that embarrassment out on her, not on me. Oh my freaking... Not that, by the way, I don't regret stepping in there. Jesus Christ. Oh, there's like 20 adults sitting around the place. Hands under their arses. Doing nothing. Frustrating. Very frustrating. She's a baby. She was a baby. They're changing the people who are here every single time, by the way. It's really, really cool.
How was she? Did you deliver the medicine?
She's getting bullied. She's getting absolutely bullied. My blood is boiling, man. Oh my god.
She reminds me of myself when I was a child. I also had to find my way in the dark, face obstacles I couldn't predict, as well as deal with unconscious prejudices people had against me.
Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen at all.
If I was ever injured by bullies or after a fall, I'd run crying to the healers at the Alchemy Commission and ask them to heal me. I suppose that's why I followed in their footsteps, to pay a little kindness forward.
Frustrating. Sorry, guys. I'm just so frustrated. It's a beautiful sentiment, by the way. Not only that she relates to this child, but also the fact that she, like, you know, would... That's why she joined this job.
Thank you for looking after the child. Could I ask you for another favor?
They're not favors at this point. Anything, please. Are you worried about her? Please.
Yes.
I am too. I am very much too. Whatever you need.
I worry about her wandering around on her own. And I want to know what's been on her mind lately.
Yes, I will do what you need.
Her parents passed away from the denizens of Abundance Wars. The relatives who took her in aren't close to her. And whenever I treat her, she often confides in me.
That's so freaking rough, man.
A healer's medicine might remedy one's physical health. But sometimes, the loneliness and hurt inside one's heart needs companionship and care.
Of course. Jesus, sometimes people just need someone to listen to them. Oh, she might have wandered far. Do you know where I might find her?
She told me that whenever she's feeling troubled, she finds a quiet corner in the Artisanship Commission and just sits there, letting the sounds wash over her.
Again, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful, you know, and she's such a smart kid to, like, know her own emotions in that way. I'm feeling sad. I'll find this, like, beautiful place to let the sounds, you know, just, like, you know, come towards me and make me feel a certain way. I'm on the verge of tears, man. I, like, feel that, you know, the feeling in your throat when you're about to cry?
Her parents used to be artisans in the commission, so I think she has some nostalgic connection to the place. In all likelihood, that's where she'll be. There's danger around every corner these days, especially for a sightless child. Let's go.
And Danshu is, like, living proof, and not that anyone needed proof, that after, you know, if you're blind, if you have some other part of you that makes you different to other people, it's not this thing where your life is over, right? And I say this so many times, right? And because I want to reiterate it, because, like, you know, I have so many different people in my audience from all different walks of life, and, you know, they're all welcome, and all, you know, all beautiful, everything, all that stuff, right? And the one thing I always have to reiterate is that, like, you know, and this is proof, like, you deserve, and you will, and you should live a fulfilling life. And this isn't me being like, you know, because I think it's one of those things, I hope it doesn't make it sound like I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, it's just the idea that, like, you know, I hope it never sounds like I'm ever looking down on someone, like, oh, they need extra protection or whatever, like, you know, stuff like that. What I'm saying is that, like, there are people out there who will do this stuff. There are people out there, and even Don Shu said it, that will attack you for the differences that you have that are different from other people. This is too real as well, because there are people out there that will make fun of you for stuff that, like, you can't control, and for stuff that doesn't make you any less of a person or make you any worse than anyone else or make you bad or anything like that. But you know what does make you less of a person? Making fun of other people.
What's happening? Is the girl in trouble?
No freaking way. Oh my god, this girl breaks my freaking heart. Yeah, no, we're not letting anything happen to her at all. Ever.
I shall be the judge.
Want to see what I can do?
I didn't expect to come into this quest like feeling this way,
You'll
man.
pay for this. Lend me your strength. Let me through. Dodge this.
I know we don't really need this, but
Rise, Venus.
Whew.
It's all right. Everything's okay now, Xiaoyu.
She's such a pretty name. Oh my god, that's such a pretty name.
Thank you, big sister.
Fuck.
Thank you, Xianzhou.
I called you big sister already. Oh man.
You don't need to be scared anymore. She is here.
Yeah.
When I think about all the trouble
Nope.
I've caused
No.
you two, I feel like such a burden. I'm sorry.
There's no burden, and that's something that can happen as well. I know this can happen where it's like this feeling of like we've seen this in this story of this game, the idea of someone feeling like a burden for these situations as well, right? And the type of people that they prey on in these situations as well. It's no burden whatsoever. You know what I mean? You're living your life, you know, and just like anyone else, you know how many people I've like Xiaoyu, how many people I've literally protected. You know, grown men, grown women, like, you know what I mean? I've protected so many people, and I do it for you in a heartbeat, no problem.
Is that why you're crying? Maybe you should start getting used to this feeling. Because in the next few centuries, visually impaired people like us will continue to require help from everyone we meet.
Can we just like, do you think Himiko will like adopt Xiaoyu or so? I'm genuinely serious, like.
So, if a little bit of guilt like this is enough to break your heart, then how will you manage such an arduous path?
Oh, she's a baby though. She's a baby. And by the way, I don't mean Himiko is like gonna be like her, like Himiko has to. I'm saying like we have to ask Himiko because she's like the boss, you know. But is this supposed to be comforting, Danshu?
I'm not trying to console her. This is the reality. Walking alone in the darkness, fearing every incoming, invisible obstacle, unable to understand other people's descriptions.
This is so like, and this is coming from the perspective of Danshu who's had to live this life, right? On this place that probably was very harsh to her as well. We know was very harsh to her as well.
Everyone, everything is like a hot coal in the dark. Invisible, yet still able to burn you. As a long-life species, she can expect life to continue like this for nearly 1,000 years.
Oh man.
She must learn to depend upon herself rather than just foolishly waiting around for the next hero to swoop in and save her.
I don't. There will always be someone willing to help her.
One hopes that would be the case.
If I have to freaking do it, I'll do it. I swear to God. If it has to be me, it will be me.
But that would require someone to be by her side every waking second of every day. In the meantime, she'll have to learn to withstand the darkness. Just as I have.
Hey, you're right, Danshu. From now on, I'll do my best to rely on myself.
110% I get what Danshu is saying, right? Because again, this is coming from the perspective of someone else who has had to live through this life in this time where you're not going to get help all the time. There's not going to be people to like, so like, and there's not going to be Estelle or a Danshu around. As we've seen, there's like 20 adults here who weren't willing to step in. But I would hope and pray that in the future someone would step in seeing someone get bullied, no matter how old or young they are. And in this situation too, like she just wanted to freaking find a space to like take in the noises of the town and the breeze and everything. And
Good. I hope you remember this. Forever. This place is too dangerous. Let's head back to Exalting Sanctum.
And I know I'm gonna get one or two comments of people being like, well, this is like harsh reality. Danshu's gonna get like I'm accepting what Danshu is saying as like a reality of like what's gonna happen in the future. Like, of course, 110%. So you don't need to like say that. My perspective on this is what I said just there, which is that I hope someone is there to help her whenever she needs any help. And it's not about making her feel inadequate or making her feel like she doesn't need to rely on herself, because obviously, like, being blind or having anything different about you in this way definitely is like something where people want to learn to be self-reliant, and because again, as I said, your life isn't over. You still have a fulfilling life ahead of you. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. It's a situation where, yes, it's the harsh reality, I understand, but I also wish that someone would be there to help someone who is in need at any moment. You said you send Danshu and the little girl back.
Thank you again for all you've done. It would seem we incomplete ones are often bullied from a tender age. I endured numerous hardships to become chief alchemist. Yet, there are still things that leave me feeling helpless. That's the reason I said what I said. You might mistake my words for being hurtful. But the truth is, no amount of words can prepare her for what lies ahead.
No, as I said, like, there is a harsher world here, because clearly it's not like this case where, like, there's a lot of like implements or things that can probably help you maybe have like a more fulfilling life clearly here, because Danshu is saying that there isn't, which, it's not like our modern society. And so even though I know, like, even now people are not always treated in the best way still nowadays, Jesus Christ. Is there no cures? And I don't know what even to say with this as well. Like, it's just a lot. It really is a lot to hear as well.
Long life species, these things are permanent. Whether we are beautiful or ugly, tall or short, wise or foolish, all of it is encoded into our flesh from the moment
they said this in the note that she wrote, right?
The impairments of short-life species can be corrected with ingenia or
I didn't know this.
But that's an impossibility for Xianzhou natives.
She's gonna be living for thousands of years.
No matter the method employed, our bodies will eventually return to their original state.
And that was what she was saying, yeah, in the letter as well.
I too was once a non-believer. I fooled myself into acquiring artificial eye implants. Soon thereafter, my sightless eyes began to regenerate, and I was left in pain and despair.
They said she made sure to write all this in the letter that she wrote, right, to us about the surge, right?
That brief window of sight that I regained has turned into a perpetual source of anguish, forever etched into my mind. For long-life species, this incompleteness is a permanent, unavoidable tenance.
And again, I know it is like a lot of harsh reality. Sorry if I'm just sitting here feeling like, this weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. There was tears, there was anger before as well. There's a lot of like high emotions when it comes to this adventure quest. And what she's saying is that because she got this short time with her sight, now she only remembers that as a bad time, not as a time where she could like see everything, you know what I mean? And feel like she wasn't going to be, didn't have to, as she said herself, experience the world as if everything ahead of her was like a hot coal.
What a joke. Even the denizens of abundance, so-called abominations, needn't endure such torture. Perhaps we incomplete ones are merely traitors, cursed by the plague's author.
The term, like, you just scary looking face. What do you mean? Like, it's just the way she even, like, calling themselves incomplete in so many ways as well, you know? But she's also saying here that, like, maybe the ones who are actually cursed is her and the likes of Xiao Yu, which again, it's named from one of my favorite characters in a video game, by the way, which is why I reacted so, I don't know, I heavily to it.
It's nothing. Forget I said anything. Thank you for sticking with me through all of this. I think my aspirations in exalting sanctum have been met, for now. Oh, I have a gift for you. Though I'll need a little time to prepare it. I'll contact you once it's ready to collect.
Okay.
See you soon, friend.
See you, Danshu. Oh, man. Go to the spare time bookshop. Yeah, it was going to happen eventually where, like, a situation would make me very frustrated in Honkai. It happened in Genshin before. It happens in every playthrough. There's going to be a time where you, like, you know, because we treat these worlds as if they're real. We don't, you know, just sit here and pretend like, oh, it's like, oh, video game. Obviously, we compliment the video game aspects of it, but, like, we you know, for me, like, I love getting immersed in a real world here. So I'll never apologize for getting frustrated or angry at characters. Never will. It'll never be a thing that you'll hear me be apologize for. Because I, you know, like anyone who would ever, I'm not saying there will be people, anyone who ever is like, oh my god, this is like, you know, getting frustrated, like, you know, like, I do not care. I do not care. I do not care. You can do your own thing. I do not care. What Danshu was saying is that there is going to be a time in her life where this is going to happen again and again and again. And what I said as well is she's going to get, like, bullied harder next time. Because we stepped in. And while we should have stepped in, obviously you'd want to take it further, but it's very clear that she doesn't even have a connection with her guardians. Her parents are gone. If those kids are doing this in the streets and bullying people, it's very clear their parents haven't taught them right from wrong either. Or at least their parents don't give a damn either. It's such a horrible reality, a horrible situation. But hopefully Xiao Yu, and I hope and pray Xiao Yu will get to a point in her life where she knows that she can live that fulfilling life. And hopefully maybe through Danshu she can realize that as well. Boss, you could be a little more enthusiastic. What do we have to do here? What is this actually, like, literally we have to buy a book or something? How about this one? The Otherworldly Delights is a collection of short supernatural stories from the boss here. I'm relative to the so wait, hold on a second here. I don't really read much. I can't really recommend anything. Well, for the I thought this was just gonna be a short conversation. This is so weird. Well, the front of the shop is where we keep our bestsellers. There's gotta be a reason why they're bestsellers. Why not start here? Viewed from the universe, Starscape is a record of wondrous explorations of Foxy and Explorer. Or you're from an exoplanet anyways. In that case, hang on, let me think. How about there's one Otherworldly Delights? It's a collection of short supernatural stories written by the boss here. I'm relative to the owner. He likes listening to other people's conversations, saying that's a good inspiration for the author. As an author. You may have seen him over in Starscape Haven. He does storytelling in some tea house called Sleepless Earl, or they're calling himself a Mr. Xian. I may have met him in the Starscape Haven. He likes getting attention. I'd be truly surprised if you haven't seen him. How I wish I could pay a little more attention to his bookstore business. Well, have you got any books there you'd like to buy? So now we have to pass. Okay, so it is just like another thing as well. I was kind of confused there for a second because I was like, are they actually going to make me, like, buy books? Is that what this mission is? I'd like to read some books to pass the time.
Oh, go right ahead. Mr. CN said that making bookworms feel at home is more important than getting them to buy
That's very adorable. That's very adorable of you to say.
All we ask is that you find a quiet spot away from the browsing areas.
That's very fair, right? It's like, hey, like, you don't have to, like, I'm not going to move you on, but just, like, make sure you're not interrupting the other business. You pick a book that's recently gotten popular across the... Okay. And we got a message from Danshu as well. So I prepared the present which I mentioned. Come over to Sinwood Pavilion. I will wish to entrust it to you in person. Coming. Do not worry, I'll be waiting your presence.
Oh, looks like the person you were waiting for has gotten in touch. Safe travels. Oh, maybe buy a book next
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. She's totally right though, right? It's like, yeah, we're browsing all this time. We spend so much time browsing, we don't even buy something, you know? That's when, like, you know, that philosophy kind of gets tested. We're just like, we don't need you to buy a book. And then it's like, oh, damn, they're not buying a book. It's like, you know, it reminds me of music stores. Like, there's that statistic that came out of Irish music stores recently where it's like, someone will spend an hour browsing guitars. Will spend an hour browsing the guitars, which is fine. It's like music store culture, right? But that hour of that one person browsing the guitars, they're talking to the owner, all this stuff, that owner's time is used up, and they found that on average, that person will then just buy like a 20 euro like guitar strap or something like that, not the actual guitar itself, which is fine. You don't have to buy something you don't want to buy. But I find it interesting where it's like, you know, you take, you know, I know this is kind of different, but like, I guess I'm going on a sidetracking story here, but yeah, they found that it's like, yeah, we're spending an hour of our time making $20. You know what I mean? Because generally people will come in and browse, yeah, and like that's the thing. Like, if you ever worked in a music store, you know that's to be true. Like, people will literally come in, sit down, and play the guitars for like an hour. They'll talk to you, you know, take up your time with a lot of stuff, and then, you know, they usually don't buy the big stuff anymore. You know what I mean? It used to be they have to buy the big stuff there, but now things have changed.
There you are, friend.
I love the way she calls us friend.
So many errands lately. I'd like for you to take some useful items away.
Oh,
with
sure.
You. Examining the exhibits in the Seat of Divine Foresight inspired me to create this. I referenced some historical texts and concocted a medicine that can extend your lifespan and improve your health.
What do you mean?
I call it the Broomdew Concentrate Pellet. And I'd like you to have it.
Something that can extend... I don't know if I want to take something that can extend my life.
Consuming it will make your body light, agile, and promote longevity and well-being.
I don't know.
As a nameless, it'll make your journey a much less arduous
Like, I'm not saying I don't trust Don Shu, but I'm saying, like, it's just like a weird feeling to take some medicine when this whole, like, this whole quest you've been doing has been about, like, you know, not taking medicine, you know?
Well then, that's that. I've still got some other business to attend to, so shall we say goodbye for
If you
now?
want to, yeah?
Perhaps the next time we meet, I'll be able to see you in the true sense of the word.
What do you mean? Don Shu placed the box of the pellet on the table. You glanced at it. Put it as... Okay, they're giving us a choice here. Put it aside.
It's not that I don't trust Don Shu.
Exactly.
This doesn't seem like something I
Exactly what I was thinking, Stell. Exactly.
Something feels off. I'd better talk to Qingzu at the Seat of Divine Foresight.
What she said there, to me, it leads to the idea... What's this? Don Shu's diary? Please hear me, Rainbow Arbiter, which is the one that I guess is is that Lon? Yufei would always laugh at me for being childish and writing you in my diary, but this has been a habit since I was a child. Besides, I also genuinely believe you are able to read this. Your eyes have always been able to see everything. Oh, your eyes are able to see everything you want to see. Someone like me should not have been born. Oh my god, yet now I live a wealthy life and have friends such as Yufei by my side. I thank your blessings every second of every day. Therefore, I hope everything I've done recently would not offend you, your peerless authority. Excuse me. I bear no dissatisfaction with the world of Xianzhou that you guard and protect. I simply wish to see the real world in real colors. When I was a child in the Lyceum, and my peers bullied me for my lack of sight, I'd always firmly believed my condition to be a trial set by the Rainbow Arbiter to test me, which testing a child in general, absolute bullshit. I maintained that belief in my years later when I entered the academy and had to spend more effort on others to keep up with my studies. Any god that would like, oh, I'm going to test a child. I'm sorry. No, I don't give a damn. They suck. As if to reward me for my tenacity, you sent Yufei to be my friend. When we were 7 years old, she chased me away. The malevolent classmates bullied me, which is fantastic, and she had been my best friend ever since. And this is because, what's so funny is, like, you can say this was the Arbiter, but also this is just like a fantastic thing that you probably did in your life as well. Yufei protected me from the bullies and helped me to keep up with my studies. During the school holidays, she would take me to visit the glamorous scenes in various ecological delves and describe their beauty to me with the great vividness. Her voice is very pleasant to listen to, like the touch of cold streams brushing past my fingertips. In theory, I should be dissatisfied with life at all. I shouldn't be dissatisfied with life at all. However, humans are visual creatures, and we perceive the world via lights and colors. I simply do not know what Yuffie means when she says, the dusk painted the sky at the end of the forest like a flame. In fact, I don't even know what Yuffie looks like. I can touch, I can imagine, and yet I still can't construct a complete picture. Therefore, with Yuffie's support, I decided to find a way to restore my sight to myself. By the blessing of the rainbow, I become the best alchemist in the Alchemy Commission, but Yuffie and its best healer. And Yuffie is its best healer. Perhaps we can indeed find a way to free the incomplete ones from eternal torment. Yuffie and I have tried many strategies recently, but none of them worked. Firstly, we tried non-invasively creating prosthetic eye. In fact, this is how an Ingenium arm works, which can function as well as a real arm. Theoretically, these non-intrusive methods can help incomplete ones with visual impairments. However, for those visually neuron developmental issues such as I, non-intrusive methods can do little to help. Secondly, we tried to create vision upon the principles behind the butterfly immersia. At its core, butterfly immersia uses foxy and pheromones to create the controllable illusions. We wondered whether it can be therefore bypass the eye as a visual signal receptor and directly send images to the brain. The outcome indicated this to be a viable strategy. However, these signals failed to form meaningful images in my brain. It did allow me to see colors and shapes for the first time, but I generally cannot tell what red is and what is a circle. So the shapes weren't forming in the way that she wanted them to, I guess. They were like signals, but not full shapes. We guess this is due to the butterfly immersias rely on experiences senses to recreate images. Therefore, when faced with sensory stimuli that I have never experienced before, even the foxy and pheromones were helpless. How odd. It showed me so many colors, but I don't really miss that feeling. Thirdly, we tried to trigger sensory compensation using other senses. This is Yuffie's idea, which was an extension of non-invasive prosthetic eyes concept by the converting visual signals into auditory, tactile, gustatory, and olfactory signals. These other sensory organs could create a whole new concept of sight. Olfactory is smell, is it? We created a prototype gadget, but our biggest challenge was its size. All the external sensors added together are heavier than the weight of 3 humans combined. It was a pain to even walk while carrying them, let alone testing them. Nevertheless, we still conducted many tests. Our results indicated this tool is much better suited for short-life species. The brains have greater plasticity through which sensory compensation can trigger. Synesthesia, where one sensory organ activates and a different sensory organ. If they use this tool for long periods of time, they would be able to realistically taste or hear and smell colors or shapes. So this could actually, what she was talking about, this can work in short life species, but like with in terms of long life species, it doesn't work because they revert back to their original state always. However, for long life species with low neuroplasticity, such as I, these sensory organs cannot come together to create brand new senses. Admittedly, I now know the testing block is blue whenever I taste chili peppers. And if I smell a frosty scent after that, then I know the block is a cone in shape. But I still do not have seen them, let alone know what blue means. And that's the idea, like, I don't know what blue means. Like something that we take for granted in a lot of ways. Those short-life species will gain more from this tool. Most of their bodily issues can be solved by invasive prosthetics and would have no need for something as complicated as this. These experiments cost a huge amount of time and effort for the Yuffie and me, yet we have produced almost no viable results. I can't even be sure whether these experiments can help other researchers in the future. I feel dejected and powerless, and I feel like I let Yuffie down. I got in touch with Professor Egan from the Intelligentsia Guild. He presented a rather outlandish solution, something called eliminative materialism therapy. Eliminative materialism is an ancient philosophical idea that states all human emotion arises from internal steroids and external electric signals. Professor Egan believes that if we cannot eliminate the root of incomplete one's suffering, then we will eliminate the suffering itself. As long as we use a pump to periodically inject specific medication to the body, we can make a person not care about their physical issues. I will have no desire to see the world. Wait, what? And not feel sad about my condition at all? It's an injection to make you not feel bad about your condition? It sounds very bizarre, but it seems like a viable path. Unfortunately, experimental results indicate that this does not look for long-life species either. The hormones within the long-life species are strictly regulated, and any external force that influences the system could cause an overwhelming retaliation. I experienced uncaring freedom for about 1 joule hour before almost dying from a psychotin source. So she tried this out and was able to not care about her condition for a bit, but then reverted to actually, then got sick from it, and then had to go back to caring about her condition. That's such a scary experiment to do. That's terrifying. I've conducted lots of experiments. There has been no progress whatsoever. I'm feeling really defeated, but I want to see what Yuffie looks like, even if it's just for once. So I asked asked behind Yuffie's back. She would never agree to something as ludicrous. Professor eager to transplant a pair of eyes for me. I saw myself in Yuffie for the first time. Her short black hair shimmered with light like soft silk, and her pale skin was beautiful like the best ceramics from the Zumin. Her ebony eyes were bloodshot with sadness and fatigue, and she kept shedding tears. She looked at my new eyes and said, "Don Shu, do you know what this means to you?" I know, of course I know. These eyes will gradually be rejected, bringing me an unimaginable pain in the process. Historically, people have become stricken with the Mara due to such agony. They will return to the darkness and lose everything I momentarily gained. I said to Yuffie, let's go see the views together, the ones you told me about. 10 days later, we stood together shoulder to shoulder, gazing at the artificial sun gradually disappearing on the other side of the Del's false sky. The rejection reaction was getting stronger and stronger, but as long as she was beside me, it didn't seem so bad. The dust painted the sky red and at the end of a forest like a flame. Whew. That night as I screamed in a puddle of my own blood, I once again returned to the darkness. All these attempts to see again. And her favorite, probably one of her favorite parts of her life here, and a part of her life that she just desperately wanted was to see that description that that Yuffie saw. The dust sky, you know? Yuffie didn't want that for her. She didn't want her to feel that feeling at all. Not at all. That's the last thing she wanted for her friend. The love they had for each other was so it's so tough to hear about, because Yuffie clearly cared so much about, yes, the idea of maybe we can find a way to make you see, right? But also, she had to go behind Yuffie's back because Yuffie cared about her so much, she also didn't want her to go through any pain. And she knew what pain she was going to go through. It's not just a rejection in terms of a spiritual rejection or the idea of rejecting, like, going back to the same sentence. She was in a pool of her own blood. It's the last thing Yuffie wanted to happen to her. They appreciated the time they had together, which is such a beautiful thing. And what that story is, she went through insurmountable pain just so she could look upon her friend, the person that she loves, and look at the night sky, the dust sky together. This is a unnerving story, right? But it's also a very heartbreaking story, and I hope that we can get to an uplifting state as well with this too.
It's been a while. To what does the seed of divine foresight owe the pleasure?
You count everything that happened between you and Don Shu to Xianzhou.
I understand. You say you have suspicions about this pellet she gave you?
Yeah, and what she said to us as well, that she's found a way to get her and gain her eyesight.
How about this? Leave this Broomdew concentrate pellet with me, and I'll find someone to run a few tests on it.
Hando, yes, 100%.
I need to find a trustworthy alchemist, so you'll need to wait here a while. It isn't easy to find trustworthy people like yourself in these perilous
I'm getting that vibe from this place, from Xianzhou. 100%. I'm getting the vibe. She just turns around and leaves. It was a long time before she returns to see the divine foresight hurriedly.
Thank the stars you were wise enough not to take that pellet. My alchemists were able to extract many forbidden components.
Jesus
The
Christ.
result is identical to the disciple's mysterious prescription.
I can't believe Don Shu lied to me. Should we just say I'll go look for her right now?
I had a suspicion that there might be a spy in the Alchemy Commission, but I never expected it to be someone so high up in
crazy.
the organization.
That's legitimately so crazy.
I'll put out a wanted notice for Don Shu immediately. If you find any trace of her, get in touch with me.
This is such a crazy outcome to
Take
this.
Deeting with you. It might just help you
Oh,
find
Deeting.
this friend.
Oh, yes, I remember Deeting. Yeah, we don't use them that often, but we use them just at the start of this quest as well, right? Holy freaking hell. Is she saying that she's like a spy? This is so rough. This is so rough. Because I want the best for, obviously, Xiao Yu and for Dan Shu as well, you know? I guess we're going to have to go up here and get a scent, right?
Dan Shu isn't here. Where could she be? I've got it. Dan Shu's medicine box has her scent on it. I'll ask the Diding that Qingzhu lent me to track her.
Yep. Diding follows Dan Shu's scent and leads you to the Artisanship Commission. Also, we didn't have to do the Diding thing? That's crazy. They just let us here.
Time to come out, little Diding. I need you to help me find
Oh,
Dan
we
Shu.
have to do it. Okay, we do have to do it. Okay. This way? Yeah, I'm just like, sorry if I'm like not as talkative. This has been like a very... She's there already. This has been a very,
Dan Shu.
Yep,
With a group of disciples.
there it is, yeah.
I guess that tells me all I need to know.
Life is as...
An idle animation to cheer us up, I guess.
Do you want to leave?
Oh, adorable. Yeah, no, this is rough to me. I'm sorry that I'm just not as like chipper about this whole quest. It's hit me hard. It has hit me hard in many ways.
Master, stand back. Let me handle this.
Master?
Stand down. She's a friend.
Oh my god,
Many
no.
of our brethren have fallen by her hands.
Yes, I am aware.
But
I said she's my friend. Leave us.
And again, she could tell us it was us as well, right?
yes, Master.
I can't imagine this ending nice. You know what I mean? I just can't.
I didn't expect you to come looking for me.
They call you Master. You're the head of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. You're the head. This whole time, she was the head. Jesus Christ, man. And it's not even one of those things where it's like, oh my god, that's the reveal. It's like, just, it breaks my heart. You know what I mean? It breaks my freaking heart. That's what it's not even one of those things where like it's like, oh, like, yes, my mind is blown. I didn't know this was going to be the outcome. But it more just like, you know, kills my soul than makes me excited for a reveal.
So they do. I am master of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, scion of merciful Medicus, and I shall lead the entire Xianzhou Alliance onto the path of abundance. Did you ingest the Broomdew concentrate pellet I gave you?
Not at all.
I admire your vigilance. What a shame. So many elixir seekers arrive on the Xianzhou in the hope of obtaining the formula to immortality. But none have succeeded.
This is what Ting Young was saying to us as well, right?
Their aspirations are well founded. The Xianzhou does indeed harbor the secret to becoming immortal. I admire you, so I thought I'd give you the chance to obtain it.
She literally... I'm sorry. You see what I mean? This is not... She literally was giving us the secret to being immortal.
The Broomdew concentrate pellet will turn you into a long-life species.
I don't want that.
You will feel the limitless freedom of the form bestowed upon you by merciful Medicus. By not taking it, you are foregoing its benefits.
Yes. And yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Such a pity. Though, as your friend, I respect your choice. Friend, please, I urge you to leave the Loufu. Abandon this struggle. The truth isn't what
I
it
have no
appears to
doubt,
be.
Don Shu, that there is a lot of stuff I don't know. That there's a lot of things that I'm still don't understand. There's still people that aren't telling me everything. There's still parts of this Yan show that aren't on the up and up. 110%. but I know right now that you lied to me, and you're standing here with these Mara-struck individuals, and a part of an organization that preys on people who are down on their luck.
What did the minions at the seat of divine foresight tell you about this conflict? That the Rainbow Arbiter is the emissary of the righteous? That the Arbiter is chasing the heathen plague's author across the stars, while the disciples of Sanctus Medicus abet their heresy?
Can I be honest with you, Don Shu? All the stuff that they do tell me, whether it be about their gods and stuff, because I find it interesting, but I don't follow their gods. I'm following actions here.
Do you really think that is the case? You don't understand Merciful Medicus, nor the devilish archer author, but you understand me. Do you see me as
That's a very, I don't like that question.
A heretic?
I don't like that question.
I do not ask for you to pick a side. I just wish for you to leave the Loufu.
That's picking a side.
Leave this all behind.
That's picking a side.
This isn't your fight, and I do not wish to make an enemy of you.
If there is something that is damaging... What? If there is something that is damaging, legitimately doing damage to people, that is, we know for a fact, factually so, that they have led to horrible situations and mutations, and none of this has been turning out good. And if we left, then we're picking a side. If you have the capabilities to stop something more than anyone else, which we do, and we leave it there, we are picking a side.
Most unfortunate. Had you known me first, perhaps we could have been good friends.
Don Shu, I actually legitimately was enjoying our conversations. I thought that you were such an interesting which you are an interesting character, of course. It's not about who I meet first at all.
Master, we should leave now.
I sincerely wish that this will be our last meeting. Farewell, Nameless.
Dear Lord. This is, it's just so, like I said, it's not like this thing where it's I am usually I'd be for any reveal, that is something that is quite surprising. It's all it's always a really interesting and big moment, right? But it made me feel smaller. It didn't make me feel oh my god, you usually would seeing a big reveal, I guess, where I'm nearly jumping out of my seat. I nearly sank into my seat more. We're doing good damage to these guys here as well.
Want to see what I can do?
Not eternal sleep.
I think you should receive divinity.
Immortality means forever.
That's nice that you summoned more people as soon as I got around to doing that, but it's okay.
Dodge this!
I'll see you off.
We've entered the storm.
Yeah. Wait, who did we buff here?
Defend.
Usually I use the buff in... Oh, everyone. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, what am I thinking?
Recount. Let me through.
I'll just get the boy in the middle then.
Rise, Venus! You're not going anywhere.
Holy, I just couldn't leave it. The idea of leaving this behind would have been...
I'd better report my findings to Xianzhou at the seat of divine foresight.
Oh god, what is this? After what we read last time. Please hear me, Rainbow Arbiter. Yufei is enlisted in the war. This is the third great war between the Alliance and the denizens of abundance. Many people I know went to the war, but I never imagined Yufei would be conscripted as well. The Alliance needs the best healer, and I happen to be the best healer. That can't be helped, right? Yufei held my head. That's what Yufei said in her palms as she said this in pretended carelessness. I grabbed Yufei's hand and replied anxiously, "The Loufu has so many healers. Why does it need to be you? You're not a Cloud Knight. You can refuse." She said, I know you're worried about me. Yufei comforted me gently. I'm just a healer. I won't be in danger. Besides, the Arbiter will keep me safe. She made up her mind to go. I can only beg her. You're an amazing person. You can live a happy life, even without me, but I'm weak. I don't know how to live in a world without you, so please return in one piece. Jesus, man. Yufei laughed helplessly. I cannot live without you either. Oh, they were freaking in love, weren't they? Trust me, I'll be back safe and sound. They adored each other so much. She let go of my hand. I knelt on the ground and covered my ears and curled up in a ball. I didn't want to listen to the sounds of her leaving. Even the sounds of her leaving, was what she didn't want to hear at all. Rainbow Arbor, please bring her back safely. Oh dear God, the fact that last line of this section is please bring her back safely. Someone became Mara-struck in the urban area of the Exalted Sanctum and caused quite a bit of destruction. We have been assigned by the judges of the Ten Lords Commission to conduct an autopsy on the corpse. The results of the autopsy are very interesting to me. I'm going to record it here for future reference. The deceased was an incomplete one. He was born without limbs and in a cognitive heart condition. However, the autopsy indicated all his disabilities seemed to have completely disappeared after he became struck with Mara. His limbs became stronger than a yellow boulder's calf, and his heart was as steady as a Starskip engine. In fact, such records have often been found in the annals of history, but I'm still stunned to come face to face with such an occurrence. I have to admit that I have been deliberately ignoring one particular cure for the incomplete ones, specifically to accept the plague's author's power. After all, no one had heard about them being there being complete ones among the Borism. Is she saying here that, like, she's been ignoring the idea of, like, accepting the Mara-struck? Perhaps there indeed exists a way to harmlessly utilize the plague's author's power. Of course, there's only one fleeting fantasy. Doing such experiments would be a crime worthy of death. Just in case these words are for any future judge of the Ten Lords Commission who may investigate this diary, the above content is all of my fantasies, and I have no plans of executing them. I hope that is... You would hope that would have been the truth. She's saying, yeah, like, she did an autopsy on this body and said, wow, like, this is something I haven't thought about, or I've been ignoring. Yufei and I wrote many letters to each other. She's safe for now at the field hospital away from the front lines. Of course, I'm worried about her, but the only thing I can do is silently pray. Rainbow Arbiter, please keep her safe. Once again, Rainbow Arbiter, who she doesn't believe in anymore. The war is over, we won, and Yufei is dead. I can't understand how she could die in a field hospital away from the fighting. I kept asking like I was mad till the Cloud Knights finally told me the truth. The Rainbow Arbiter descended onto the physical plane and annihilated the Borazin fleet using their divine arrow. At the same time, their divine miracle wrought some collateral damage, such as the field hospital Yufei is based. So the Rainbow Arbiter's power killed Yufei. She did not die in the hands of the denizens of abundance. Instead, she was ground to dust by the Rainbow Arbiter's divine arrow, with not even a single bone of her left behind. And it's changed from Rainbow Arbiter, please keep her safe, to why. Rainbow Arbiter, this will be the last time I write to you. I wish that all that you hope to destroy are resurrected. I wish that all you hope to preserve is annihilated. I wish all lives in the land will thrive contrary to your desires. I wish all the stars in the sky will be dimmed because of your existence. I wish the cosmos be full of life and not full of death. I wish the Alliance will exist forever, but not in the way you desired. That's like almost wishing a curse upon someone. This was the moment that she was like, I do not believe in the Rainbow Arbiter is not my god anymore. She had in her mind, she did not have she had the fantasies. The fantasy, we're just going to get out here so we don't have to like battle too much here as well. She had the fantasy of giving into the idea of this Mara-struck thing to be as a way that she used to ignore, but a way of harnessing this ability so that she could like, possibly like, regain her sight in some way as well. But still at that point, she obviously didn't like the war itself because it took away like someone she loved, but it was also this case where she was like also just incredibly worried and distraught at the idea of the person she loved leaving, to the point that she was on the ground crying and covering her ears because she didn't even want to hear the footsteps, the sound, the familiar sound of her friend leaving. There's also like this case where clearly in the end there what happened was the Rainbow Arbiter not caring about the people below them, not caring about the freaking hospital, by the way, a freaking hospital. Not caring about the collateral damage of a hospital destroyed Yufei, killed Yufei, which led then to Dan Shu losing all faith in the Rainbow Arbiter, but not only that, wanting to go fully against the beliefs of the Rainbow Arbiter and the beliefs of the Xianzhou. Crazy. This is like a freaking like main story quest, what we've been
How did
doing
it go?
here.
Did you manage to locate Don Shu?
You interrupt Xianzhou and report everything that's happened to the Artisan Commission.
So you weren't able to apprehend her. I see. These people have been in hiding for so long. They must have a more nefarious plan. I've got to apprehend them quickly. Once again, thank you for all your help. With your intel, we will put a stop to Don Shu. Jing Yuan tells me you'll be joining the forces led by the Alchemy Commission and Master Diviner. I won't take up any more of your time.
That's so interesting.
Please, take good care of yourself.
Holy hell.
If you run into Don Shu again, contact the nearest Cloud Knights.
I don't know if I will be. I don't know what's going to happen
Take
next.
this as a token of my appreciation. You deserve it.
This was... Is that the end of it? It's the end of it. That was one of the most harrowing missions and one of the most emotionally draining missions that I've ever done in a Hoyo game. I was not even like there was times where I literally caught myself not saying a thing. Like, you know, because people call me a world star freaking yapper. I yap a lot. I talk a lot. And there's moments legitimately, I'm not even, I can be honest with you guys. I was literally sitting there like walking through a place and I'd be like, you're not saying anything right now. And in my head, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I literally was just like, this such a heavy thought process going through this whole mission. This to me is once again another story of the idea of faith, and another story of mixed with the idea of like how far people are willing to go to experience something that they believe is truly beautiful. But once the thing that they believe is truly beautiful is gone, their anchor to this world is almost gone as well. I truly believe that the one thing that was keeping as we saw through that note, she literally hurt herself. Don Shu literally bled through her eyes just to see, it's the truth. She bled through her eyes just to see Yufei once. She bled through her eyes to see a sunset once. And the one thing that was, she even said it, the pain is so bad, but it's not so bad because I'm beside Yufei. The one thing keeping her in place, keeping her sane, through her, since she was a child to when she was an adult, was Yufei. And now, when Yufei died, that anchor was gone. It's gone. In a bullcrap move of collateral damage against a freaking hospital. If you knew the hospital was in the vicinity, you don't do anything, but of course they don't care. Like that, you know, they're not gonna care. It got to the point in this mission, and I said it before, that like she obviously did all this stuff because, again, in the end, she no longer cared about like I feel like the only reason she never took like more drastic steps like this in the first place was probably because she had Yufei. I feel like she would have taken more drastic steps. Sorry, we're gonna stop moving for a second. I know, like I move a lot as well in this stuff too, but I got to a point in this mission where they had a big reveal of like she's the master all along. She's the one who's the head of this the head of this organization, and I feel like any other mission, at least when I'm editing, I notice whenever there is a big reveal, like I love the feeling of my mind being blown. I love the feeling of like grasping onto my chair and like getting so excited and like overwhelmed by something like this. But I got overwhelmed, but in a different way. This reveal happened, and I was like, it was almost like I literally sunk. I sunk into my chair. I like literally felt so down. what we learned throughout this whole thing is probably like a lot of like very important, obviously very, very important information. And I'm think I'm going to read over like a lot of the stuff as well, but we're going to talk about like preliminary stuff, and like I can totally, you know, read over some stuff and come back and talk about other stuff as well. There's no issue with that as well. I like doing that sometimes too. We learned about like how the idea of the immortality and the medicine that is given to immortality reacts in different ways. It comes from the idea of the Vidyahara and giving the draconic power to other organisms, but different creatures react to it in different ways. I believe short-lived species, like humans, I guess, just normal non-Xianzhou natives, they will react to it in a certain way that like is actually like will make them like extremely powerful. I think when it comes to long life species, which is the people of the Xianzhou, which again, I'm sorry that I didn't get the terms until much later, Xianzhou and maybe like, but I think Foxians even react to it in different ways too, right? And in fact, we can actually like look at it here. Actually, I might get it up again, the note that she had here as well, because it's actually very important here, just to get to see what was said about the Foxians. Do we have Danshu's, the first Danshu diary? Where does it say the Foxians? So actually, let's just yeah, I'll skim through this and talk about it again, so we're not missing out anything in this as well. So like, it was obviously the idea of like, you know, she believed that here it is. She believed that Yufei was a reward for the Arbiter, and stopped believing that as soon as Yufei was taken away. She talks about humans being visual creatures. They talked about like the stuff that can this isn't what we need to look for, by the way, but it's good to look at this as well. This is the other thing we were given as well, the note that we were given. It's the idea of like all the stuff she tried as well, like everything that she tried, and nothing actually was like a real viable strategy. Just some really absolutely terrifying stuff against it. And I feel like I let Yufei down. She truly believed in her heart of hearts that Yufei cared, like obviously she cared, but I totally believe Yufei was doing this for Danshu, not the other way around. This is Professor Egan, the materialism therapy, which is the idea of making you not care about like your pain, which to me sounds absolutely terrifying. There was no progress on any experiments, and this is when legitimately she literally hurt herself and made herself bleed through her eyes just so she could see Yufei. And this is the idea of Yufei going into the war. She was so heartbroken when she left when Yufei went into the war. There's also the idea, this is also the autopsy she did, where she started to realize, oh my god, I've ignored this for so long. And without Yufei there, she probably was thinking about it. She even like had to like warn people. This is my fantasies. She wrote about to Yufei all the time, putting her fate in the Rainbow Arbiter. The war is over, but Yufei died. Now she no longer cares about the Arbiter, and not only doesn't care, she hopes everything that the Arbiter looks to preserve is the opposite. If the Arbiter wants this thing, she wants the other thing, and that's the thing that the General Jin Yuan follows as well, right? There was also the note we got of it's not this, isn't it? It's not the General's diary. Where is it? Glimpses of the Beyond. What was the other thing we got? It should say new, right? Under so maybe like it's it should be here then, right? Surveillance report. This was the note that we got on the This is interesting as well though, right? When looking for the actual note itself, it's not travelogue. Was it in here? General's diary. This is beyond. There's so much interesting stuff. Guys, I have to spend some time to read some of this stuff. This looks so interesting to me. We've read a lot here today as well. Whereabouts is it? It has to be on the Dragon Scourge, right? The Dragon Surge. Can we filter out like? No, this is like all her to space station stuff. No, it should be here. It should be here. Is it in here? This is it, I think. This is it. Yeah, okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's in this section. So the Draconic Surge, So they're saying that the idea of long life comes from the idea of something like cancer, which is like cells that grow, I think, really fast, I believe, as well. And they'll eat away at the host until both perish. And that's what it is, like the idea of like a longevity, I guess, as well, is that like the cells are changing constantly. Here we have as well that the mutated, the cells are mutated to be able to live independently in the host. Okay, so there's this creature had gained the capacity to cross the species barrier due to transmutation. Long life species are entirely composed of immortal cells, yet we maintain an equilibrium with their bodies, and this was quite an impossible feat. I think the equilibrium is the thing that like reverts them back to normal state. Xianzhou natives and Foxians shift as needed. The conversion obeys specific rules that will never create a single error. So that's what happens. So the Foxians and the Xianzhou natives are long life species, and they will their cells are constantly shifting. The rules that dictate this conversion are ultimate secret among secrets. And they say as well here that it's set in stone. Long life species here, it seems to be set in stone. And no matter what. And they will always return to their original standard. And we call this we call this phenomenon, which goes against this is called the Plague's Author. So the Plague's Author is actually the idea that no matter what, you will return to the original standard. Is that the case? At certain critical points along the species' life cycle, this power from the Plague's Author will suddenly enter a new stage. The original standard will be overridden, and their new body will start to develop catastrophically, turn to civilian human into so the Plague's Author will turn civilian humans into mindless abominations. That is what we call Marastruck. So the Plague's Author is what's turning people to Marastruck, and that's what she said. She was like, she felt like she could she was ignoring the Plague's Author when she could harness it in some way with the Marastruck people. And then we have the Vidyahara's immortality is different because they got their blood, I think, just because they were born with that blood, right? They were born with that immortal blood because they were descendants of of Long the Dragon. Yeah, we heard about this before as well. Obviously, read this before. And then they return to the infantile stage. They turned into eggs, and they don't face the ailments. So that's why they use the Draconic Surge, is the idea that they don't face the same ailments as. Sorry, this is going on so long, guys, but I just want to make sure I'm getting everything here. They don't face the same ailments as other long life species might as well. And they wanted to transfer this into other humans using the Vidyahara bone marrow. And it triggers different things, I believe, in different species. So short life species, they was forced to graft the power of the dragons into their body. This brutal transplantation will cause a rapid elevation of body capacities for a short duration, significantly improving the short life species' fragile physiologies. However, once cells from the long scions have all perished, the host immune system, the host physiology will suffer catastrophic regression. So actually, short life species like us, if we get this, yes, we will have to we can take the medication, but we will eventually get regression. The only thing that can suppress or revert this might be miracle drugs. And then in terms of, there's no antidote. They're saying there's no antidote for this whatsoever. So short life species will also experience regression, and it will be catastrophic. But long life species, no matter what, will revert back to their original state as well, I guess, is what they're saying here. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is super, super interesting as well. But yeah, that seems to be like a lot of the stuff we're getting here as well. We're learning about the Santis Medicus. The fact that they do have numbers, that they're maybe working in the shadows. We don't know exactly where they are at this moment. We don't know how many people they have and what they're working towards. I hope that wasn't too out of crazy just reading through all that, guys. I was trying to get a good grasp on some of this stuff too. You can explain some of the stuff as well if you want to also. Yeah, so that seems to be where we're at in terms with the Santis Medicus. What else can we say about this as well? We got to infiltrate the organization itself. And we've seen that they have been manipulating people for a long time, even manipulating some people that believe to be people believe to be good people, like soldiers and stuff like that as well, which is also another terrifying prospect as well. At the same time, that this is even able to happen, right? That it's not just, again, it's people who are down on their luck, it's people who are vulnerable that again are manipulated by this stuff, but it's also people who just have this unrelenting ambition who are down on themselves as well that can be manipulated. Also, people that we believed at one point couldn't be manipulated, that were well respected in terms of the ranks of the Cloud Knights, all this stuff. So it is a very terrifying thing that can affect multiple people at any given time as well. I believe to me that this story is a story of terrifying ambition, terrifying manipulation, and the idea of vulnerability being something that can, and being down on yourself and being, and yeah, as I said, like being ambitious and being down on yourself and feeling horrible about yourself can definitely lead to you wanting to like improve aspects of your life in some very catastrophic ways as well. I'm glad we did get to do this mission also. We also know as well by the end of that mission here, the stuff that she was saying to Xiao Yu, you'll have to find a way to do it for yourself. It has kind of I believe that in some way, she definitely did believe what she was saying, like you will have to figure this out for yourself. But I also think as well, it's a bit, I don't know, to me like it comes from a place of her trying so many different things and none of it working. But all this time, what medicine was she giving to that little kid? If she was giving us medication that would have drastically altered our cells with the Mara-struck stuff, what was she giving to that little kid as well? Sorry that the last bit of this episode is a little bit all over the place. I'm sure you guys will explain so much to me too. I might come back and explain some other stuff as well. If I do want to talk about her stuff, I will like chat away with some patrons even, like maybe to get my ideas in place. But also I want to chat away with you guys. Please explain anything I missed or anything I got wrong. Terms and all this stuff, definitely I will get wrong too. Thank you though to Tyfire2, Jamie Bull, Janet the Banana, The Ghost of Itazuma, Felicitas Felix, Ewald, Radish, Anusa, Death Trap, Lynx Markey, Assassin, True Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, heck, Leon, High Casparian, Jared Beanham at the highest tier of my YouTube members, Glasgow and World Gamer 7. Guys, this episode hit me emotionally. I feel weird.